Did you get any blowback for your Taylor Swift comments, Max?
0.
Okay. All right.
I said
it was
for saying that she was beautiful.
One of the most beautiful
I feel like
pop stars.
That's about as safe as you can say.
One of the most?
You just want someone else to get Taylor Swift blowback.
No, I don't care. I don't want you to go through hell. I don't even do anything anymore. On today's Pardon My Take, we have our good friend Brian Baldinger on to talk some football. We're talking football the whole show. We got NFL trade deadline, Monday Night Football. We have Hot Seat Cool Throne. We have listener roasts are back. Great roasts. And we also are going to talk some college football, and it's brought to you by our friends at DraftKings. NBA is finally back. Here's a way to get even more into the action following your favorite players playing Pick 6 from DraftKings, an official partner of the NBA. It's super simple to get started. First, download the DraftKings Pick 6 app, then select 2 or more players and choose if they'll have more or less of a stat like points, rebounds, three-pointers, and more. Track your picks for a shot at huge cash prizes. That's all there is to it. Pick 6 is available in most states, including California, Texas, Georgia, Missouri, and more. And for all first-time Pick 6 players, check this out. New customers play $5 and get $50 in Pick 6 credits. Hoop it up all season long with the newest, most fun way to play fantasy sports. Pick 6 from DraftKings. Download the DraftKings Pick 6 app now. Use code TAKE. That's code TAKE for new customers to play $5, get $50 in Pick 6 credits only on DraftKings Pick 6. The crown is yours. Okay, let's go. Welcome to Pardon My Take, presented by DraftKings. Hoop it up all season long with the newest, most fun way to play fantasy sports. Pick 6 from DraftKings. Download the DraftKings Pick 6 app now and use code TAKE. That's code TAKE for new customers to play $5 and get $50 in Pick 6 credits only on DraftKings Pick 6. The crown is yours. Today is Wednesday, November 6th, and I think we need to elect a president of this podcast.
I vote for Pug.
I vote for Pug as well. I was going to say maybe Hank.
No, God, no.
God, why? No. But we should make Hank the president because he doesn't want to be the president. Isn't that the rule you always say? Like we should find the person who least wants to be it?
Yeah, my general rule of thumb is that anybody that wants to be president should never be president. The type of ego that you would need to be president. Like, it's a bad idea to elect those psychos.
15-yard penalty, shooting you up.
Jail.
What?
Hank says lock him up.
Me?
Yeah.
If you're throwing penalties at me?
Okay, so you're president.
He said you'd be in prison.
You're not running against me. You're running against Pug.
Still jail, though.
But I can do whatever I want.
You can jail all your enemies, yeah.
I think we need a president of the podcast. You think it should be Pug?
I vote Pug.
All right, get Pug in here.
In a landslide.
Big day in the country. We have the NFL trade deadline and Maction back.
The first dog president has been elected.
All right. Pug's going to come in here. We're going to tell him that he's president. What do you think his reaction is going to be?
I think he's going to be psyched, but he's going to be like, what do I do?
He's not even here. We just elected a guy who's not even here.
That's perfect. The country runs itself at this point.
Pug is MIA.
Oh, no. Yeah. Did someone throw a tennis ball or something? It's funny if he was just out on the court.
He's just getting distracted.
Chasing a tennis ball. All right, so you will not get any election coverage on this show. We will talk football, and we also will tell Pug that he's president whenever he comes back.
So Big T asked me a question about the election.
I still think we should title the episode.
Yeah,
you want to?
Yeah.
Do. Okay, I said it at the end of it. We already taped the end of the show, and I said we should do it. Should we do it?
It's the most free downloads in the history of free downloads. Maybe not. Maybe that's unethical.
What if we add it in? What if it's like Brian Baldinger, NFL trade deadline,
the fate of our country,
and the fate of our country, 2024.
So Big T had an interesting question. It was like, what if, the write-in line on every ballot, what if enough of the country got together and wrote in the same person, and then that person ended up getting elected and they didn't want to be president? Did they have to be president?
That's how it works.
Listen, I got duped early. I have two things I want to say. One is I think I'm officially, we're going to turn 40 in a couple months, PFT, or like 3 months. It's been rattling me a little bit, but I'm okay.
I'm good. I'm totally fine with it.
well-
I haven't gone out and gotten hair surgery or bought an old car or anything.
Here's what I'm dealing with. I'm just having to embrace where I'm at in life, and unfortunately, I think I'm just a guy who gets duped online now, like a fully duped online, because a Jaguars account said, remember in 2014 when Blake Bortles finished 6th for the Florida governor race?
I retweeted that. Yeah.
I retweeted it as well. I was like, yeah, of course he did. He's the fucking boat. But I'm fine with just being the guy who
That
gets
didn't
duped.
happen?
No, it did not happen.
well-
it said 20,000 votes. I should have been tipped off then.
Here's the thing. It had him
Write-ins.
exactly tied with whoever finished in last.
Yeah.
And I think it was like 60,000 votes. I retweeted it as well. But I think that if enough people repost it on X.com, the everything app, it's all happening on X. If enough people repost it, then it just becomes the truth.
Yeah.
So I think, yes, Blake Bortles, you can look that up now on Wikipedia. I'm pretty sure it says that he finished in 6th place.
I'm just a duped guy now, but I was like, yeah, Blake Bortles would be the perfect like politician, because he would just go off vibes.
Yeah.
And he would just be like, whatever. Yeah. Does it help people? Oh, okay. Yeah, sure.
You know what? He's a man that can put in a plan for health in America that can get us healthy again. If he just does a first thing in the morning, everybody, you wake up and you take a piss
Yeah.
for your country.
Wait, should Blake Bortles be the president? Pardon my take.
Sure.
There's no way he's going to pick up my phone call right now.
There's one thing I'm going to miss from this whole election stuff.
Okay.
The commercials.
Oh
yeah.
my God.
The commercials during
I'm
football.
so ready for the commercials to be done. All right, I'm going to call Blake. If he picks up, I think he's the official president of Pardon My Take. Do
Okay.
you guys agree with this?
I agree.
But what if he doesn't answer? Is that
Blake
what
Griffin.
you-
I think that makes him that might make him even more president.
I like that.
Yeah, okay. Oh, yeah, and then, no, we could give Brooks a chance. Should we just send a Zoom to all three of them? Oh, I don't think he's going to pick up. There's no chance he's going to pick up. It's back to Pug. Oh.
Yellow.
Hey!
Blake.
We're taping the show right now, and, you know, it's a big day in the country, so we decided that we were going to create a president of Pardon My Take, and we have elected you president of Pardon My Take.
Oh, man, I'm honored.
Oh, hell yes! So you take the job.
Oh, no, I had the opportunity to decline?
You do.
Oh, yeah, no, I don't want that. No,
All right.
I'm VP material.
Okay, all right, you're VP. You're VP. All right, because we were talking about how someone, a Jaguars fan account tweeted, they're like, remember in 2014 when Blake Bortles actually finished 6th for the governor in Florida, and I got duped because I love you so much. I was like, yeah, of course he did. It said you got 20,000 votes. It was completely photoshopped, but... Okay, so you're VP.
That 15 times today.
Yeah.
I'm in for VP for sure.
All right, done. All right, great. All right, we'll talk to you later.
All right, see ya.
All right. See, that's a guy who should be a politician.
That's perfect, yeah.
He's like, oh, I can decline? All right, so Pug is president and Blake Bortles is VP.
Yeah, so the stat that I accidentally reposted, my finger slipped, it says that he got 20,066 votes for governor in the year 2014.
I just believed it. I was like, I think that's just, I was blinded by my love for our vice president, Blake Bortles.
It could happen.
Yeah.
Think about it.
We have Pug. We've decided, we started the show, everyone's in the election mood, so we decided we need a president of Pardon My Take, and you have been voted as our president.
I'm honored, Pug.
Perfect.
Yeah. And
No
Blake
notes.
Bortles is your VP.
Okay, I'm in. Pug.
Okay.
Pug, what kind of policies are you bringing to Pardon My Take?
Free popcorn machine.
That's not.
Always needs to be loaded up.
Okay.
Right now. Max on the couch.
Now we're getting to some fucking fiery policies.
Max and Hank share the couch.
Oh, I like that.
Pug.
That's fine with me.
Oh, would you
That's
put
all I
yourself
got.
in Max's spot?
Yeah, and then Shane will be
Okay.
Shane will be in here.
I don't hate that. I don't. Memes. What do we got going on?
Not Pug.
Okay, all right, Pug. You are now president. Blake Bortles is VP. Thank you for accepting this very important role.
I appreciate it. It's for all the AWLs, all the pugs. Pug.
Okay,
Love that.
All right, should we talk some football? We got the business out of the way.
Let's talk football.
We should talk Monday Night Football real quick, and then we'll get to the NFL trade deadline. The Chiefs are perfect on the season. They are going to play every game the exact same way where you think the Chiefs might lose, and then they're going to be perfect on third down, and they're going to get a big defensive stop, and Patrick Mahomes is going to make a big play.
Oh, and Travis Kelce's still alive.
Yeah, still alive.
Very much alive.
Yeah, I think there we go. The mic out. Patrick Mahomes, that's just what they do. And DeAndre Hopkins, obviously that was his coming out party, and I was impressed. Like, Baker is the man. I can't stop rooting for Baker and the Bucs because he's a gamer. He's just going to be in every game, going to will them to trying to win these games. Todd Bowles is the biggest fucking coward in the world.
He pulled a Billy Napier.
God, what a loser.
It's a loser move. So you're going up against the Chiefs. You're decimated by injuries. Baker just went out there and like bled all over himself for 3 hours. You somehow got yourself in position where you can win the game, score a touchdown, and then you have the opportunity to go for two on the road, Monday Night Football, against an undefeated team, or you can kick an extra point like a coward, go to overtime, and think that you can win in overtime against literally Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
And you decide to kick the extra point. Now, I saw somebody that posted like what the official stats were, and this is where Big Cat, you and I need to separate ourselves from the stats community.
From the nerds?
Some people are saying that we become nerds because of the whole 14 points go for two thing.
That's just math.
That's just the one thing that we know about and understand.
That is simply the only analytics that I'll ever understand, so I'm going to talk about it constantly to make people think I'm smart.
That and beer before liquor.
Yeah.
That's analytics too.
And don't swim if you've had tuna fish sandwich.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah. Don't swim 30 minutes after eating.
Yeah, 30 minutes after eating. And pulling out is good birth control.
Yep.
Okay, so here's what the official numbers are. If the winning percentage, if you go for the point after touchdown, 42.8%. The winning percentage, if you go for two after that touchdown, 41.2. So 41.2 for going for two versus 42.8 for going for the win. So they're saying it's safer by 1% to kick the extra point.
Got it.
Here's why they're wrong. Here's why the nerds are wrong. It's fucking Patrick Mahomes on the other side.
It's the vibe check.
You're fucking Patrick Mahomes.
This is where, like, whenever we have these arguments about analytics, I think we're actually two of the more like honest and grounded people when it comes to analytics are important. You should use the math in your advantage. But vibes are very much important, and like time and place matters.
Yeah, too many people use the word analytics as just a word for a number that they don't like.
Right, and I am all for you. You are without Mike Evans, without Chris Godwin. You've taken the Chiefs to the limit here. You have one play to win the game. Just go fucking run that play. And I don't like if you don't get it. That's the other thing is like. I would just rule every decision that you're making as a coach is if it fails, will I be blamed? I wouldn't have blamed Todd Bowles there. I was thinking go for two the whole time. Just try to win the game. If you don't get the two, hey, at least you went out on the field.
Instead of the would I be blamed, what I like to do is I like to imagine what a fan of the other team doesn't want me to do. And then I do that thing.
Correct.
So if you were to ask any Chiefs fan, what don't you want the Bucs to do? They would say, I don't want them to go for two on this play because I would love to take my chances in overtime. First of all, you get a coin flip to start out, so that's 50-50. And then you have Patrick Mahomes on the other side. So even if you go down, kick an extra point, kick a field goal, you still have to stop Patrick Mahomes from scoring a touchdown. Now, in this case, you want to imagine what the other team does not want you to do. And it's a no-brainer for that. Like you have the opportunity to beat the Chiefs on Monday Night Football without giving their offense an opportunity to touch the ball. Now, there was some time left, too, and that's because Todd Bowles made a terrible decision.
He called a
timeout. You'd like some of that time to tick off because then, you would end up going up by one, then kicking the ball to Mahomes, and then he gets 4 downs. And you don't factor in punting if you're the Chiefs on that offense.
Of course.
But still, you go for 2 in that situation. You try to win the game right there. 2 yards.
Win the game. Liam Cohn's a great offensive coordinator. Like the fact that he has the Bucs still looking like a very competent offense with all their injuries. I don't know, like Kate Otten just gets schemed open on every play.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So the Chiefs defense is gassed. You have a great offensive coordinator. You have a gamer in Baker Mayfield who can run it in or throw it in, so you can do an option on that play. Go for two. And Todd Bowles, it's when a coach gets to a point where they're losing and they're losing in a stupid way that I just get so sick of their face. I'm so sick of Todd Bowles' face. His little, like, where he squints his eyes when he's looking at the field, he looks like your like grandparent or parent who's reading a menu that refuses to get glasses. And you're like, do you need help? Like, can we read it for you? He just keeps squinting at the field. Like, if I squint hard enough, it will look different.
Todd Bowles wants them to turn up the font on the down sign.
Yeah.
Is it a 3 or is that a 4?
It's just, there's something about his, like, I've turned on Todd Bowles. I mean, I was never a big Todd Bowles guy, but this Bucs team fights so hard, and Todd Bowles, you're a coward.
Yeah,
you're a coward.
It was a cowardly move, and the Bucs very easily could have won that game. They played well. The Bucs were in there the whole time. They were playing hard on defense, and I love Bucky. Bucky's the best.
Yeah.
How can you not root for a guy named Bucky?
Yeah, Bucky Irving, Rashad White scored. I have a question about Patrick Mahomes. Is he the heir apparent to the Big Ben fake injury? Because Patrick Mahomes gets like horrifically injured at least 3 times a year, and then he's totally fine.
Okay, so be honest. In the moment after it happened, when he's getting carried off the field, they show the replay a couple times. What did you think?
I thought Achilles or knee. It was non-contact. I was watching the game in bed, actually, and I was like, ooh, non-contact. That's actually way worse. And my wife was like, why? And I just felt like the dumbest person ever. I was like, well, if you get hit, like, you know, you break a bone, but like non-contact, you don't know what happened. Total non-answer for me. But obviously we've always learned that non-contact is way worse.
It's because if it's not contact, then it's probably a ligament or a tendon.
Probably,
and if
but
it's a bone, you might get lucky and it's just a high ankle sprain.
I did not have a good answer for that in the moment. I just completely crumbled under pressure.
So
but yeah, I thought it was Achilles or knee, or like they said maybe even his hip. I thought it was Patrick Mahomes is done. I was like, Carson Wentz is going to. I was to the point where I was like, Carson Wentz is probably going to win a Super Bowl.
So I got mad. I got so mad when they showed Carson Wentz warming
He
up the
looked good
sidelines.
in red.
Yeah.
I was like, this motherfucker is about to get on the field, force me to watch him play, which brings up big time PTSD.
Yeah.
And be successful.
Yeah.
And I was prepared for that. Carson looked very nervous, and he's probably thankful that he didn't have to go in because he is like in the co-pilot seat to potentially win a Super Bowl this year, which is kind of his thing that he likes to do. But the relief that I thought I saw in Carson Wentz's face, it's like if you're in an exit row on an airplane and it crashes and you're like, oh, I got to get up and get everybody off this plane, and then you wake up from that dream and you're like, oh, it's not real. That's what Carson Wentz felt when Mahomes was like, I'm just going to run this out on the sidelines. So he was fine after getting carried off the field. Like he wasn't putting any weight on his foot whatsoever.
In that shot where they were celebrating and he was sitting down and he looked up and he was just like, not good. I was convinced he was done for the year. And he does do this. I don't know. I think he's got, they always show his stretching and how he does these weird stretches in the offseason, and he does have that little bit of dad bod. I think he's just indestructible.
Yeah, he's Gumby.
Yeah. Did we ever find out what could have potentially been the injury?
Yeah, they said that he was working on an ankle sprain.
Got it.
That he was. I don't know if he was listed or if they were giving him a treatment before the game for that. But he had an ankle sprain. You know how sometimes if your ankle's fucked up and then you just step.
Yeah,
like we're old, but like you'll just take a step and step on it
all
wrong.
the time.
He did that like times 100, where he stepped on it and re-aggravated it, and then he was like, "Okay, nothing's actually wrong with it. I can play."
Yeah. Andy Reid should have actually given Carson Wentz a game ball and been like, "Hey, in those like 90 seconds, you didn't piss and shit yourself.
You're ready to go, Carson.
Good job,
He might
dude.
have. I don't know.
It's just for the Bear. You didn't run away from us. Good job, Carson.
I just
What are you
closed my
gonna
eyes,
say, Max?
leaned back, and saw the picture of Carson Wentz with the like 107 ducks that he shot.
I just assumed it was going to be like the NFL is scripted. Carson Wentz obviously was playing at MVP level the year that he gets hurt. Nick Foles wins the Super Bowl. Patrick Mahomes gets hurt. Carson Wentz wins the Super Bowl. That's what's going to happen.
If Wentz went in, he would have cooked.
Yeah, he
I
would
know
have
he
won a
would've.
Super Bowl.
Yep.
And we would have just been like, Carson Wentz won a Super Bowl.
And then all the Taylor Swift fans in the world would have like fallen in love with Carson Wentz.
And it would have been, all right, who would it have been? I'm trying to think. not the same. Maybe the Saints. I'm trying to think who would have then signed. Maybe the Giants would have signed Carson Wentz, and he would have absolutely sucked. He would have won a Super Bowl. The Giants would have been like, Carson Wentz is our starting quarterback going forward, and then he would have gone back into a pumpkin.
I think maybe the Raiders.
The Raiders, yeah, the Giants and the Raiders. One of those, maybe the Titans. Like one of those teams would have signed him, and he would have sucked.
Colts, really.
Jets, the Jets signed Carson Wentz.
The Jets would have signed Carson Wentz.
We were robbed of the Carson Wentz story arc.
I'm not ruling it out.
No, I'm not either. But yeah, so that was the Chiefs are just they're so fucking good. And they do it in such an efficient. Like they never look flashy anymore. I think that we'll talk to Baldy about it because he pointed out that DeAndre Hopkins changes that, but they just you can't make a mistake against them, and it just doesn't matter if there's a third down and 8. Patrick Mahomes is going to get it.
Their defense is also incredible.
Really good. Really good. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of weird because I feel like the Chiefs, they're not the best team in the NFL, but they will be the best team in the NFL.
They're the
if
team.
That makes sense.
They're the team no one would want to play in a playoff game because I would think they would win every single playoff game, which they have. They have not lost a game since the Raiders Christmas Day game or the day after Christmas last year.
Mm-hmm.
They've not lost a game. They won their last 2 games of the regular season, then won all their playoff games, and now they're 8-0.
So they're 8-0. Who's going to be the first analyst to get on TV and say, "Is this the worst 8-0 team that we've ever had in the NFL?"
It's not though.
I know.
We've had way worse.
I know.
Yeah,
they're winning games because they're good at football.
I think if they went undefeated, people would be like, "This is the most uninspiring undefeated." But
they're not winning games because they're doing gimmicks. They're not winning games in like blowouts against bad teams. They're just winning games because they do everything very, very good.
They just win games. So they have the Broncos next, then they have at the Bills. If the Bills don't beat them, I don't know if they have a loss until the Texans and at the Steelers at the end of the season.
That's what Sean McDermott should do. Sean McDermott should hire Paul Rudd to sit next to him on the sidelines and be like, "Paul, should I go for 2 here? What do you want as a fan of the Chiefs?"
Yeah.
And then make his decision thusly.
Yeah, just go off of that. All right, should we talk some NFL trade deadline? PFT. Are the Commanders all in?
I'm thinking Soupy.
Yeah?
I'm thinking Soupy. And we talk
Marshawn Lattimore obviously got traded to the Commanders. Huge. I mean, that's a great trade.
It's a good trade. We gave up a 3rd-round pick, and I think we swapped a 4th for a 5th. So essentially what Adam Peters did was he turned Jahan Dotson into Marshawn Lattimore, which is a pretty good magic trick.
Not exactly.
Well, yeah,
We got a 3rd and we got a 5th back as well.
Well, he actually did better than that because the 3rd that we gave up is going to be a much worse draft pick.
But you gave up an extra pick.
But the 3rd that we gave up is going to be a much worse draft pick than what we end up getting from that trade because you had Miami's 3rd rounder.
But you just said you swapped a 4th and a 5th. We swapped a 3rd and a 5th.
Okay, so we swapped a 3rd and 5th.
Correct. So you gave up more picks.
So wait, me and you swapped a 3rd and a 5th.
Correct. And you added a 4th.
And we added a 4th.
To the Lattimore.
So, but I didn't get a 5th back from you. Is that what you're saying?
We got a fit.
Wait.
We got
to start fresh. Right.
This match.
So PFT gave Max Jahan Dotson.
And you can have
Max gave PFT what?
3rd-round pick.
We got Jahan Dotson and a 5th.
And that you gave up a 3rd.
We gave up a 3rd and I think and a 7th.
Okay, forget the 7th.
Correct.
What you then? You traded Jahan Dotson and got a 3rd-round pick.
Miami
you traded Jahan Dotson and a 4th for Marshawn Lattimore.
I got.
That's what it is.
I got Miami's pick for Max. Miami's 3rd-round pick.
I'm confused. So then, what did you trade for
so
Marshawn
then
Lattimore?
We just traded our 3rd-round pick.
Got it.
For Marshawn Lattimore
and a 4th,
and we swapped
and a 4th,
a 4th and a 5th. We swapped a 4th and a 5th.
But we also got one of your 5ths.
Yeah.
So it's Jahan Dotson and a 4th because it was the same trade.
Yeah.
Plus a 4th.
Okay.
Right.
So it's Jahan Dotson and a 4th.
And a 4th.
I still like it. So the reason why
and you're not mad at Max.
No, I just wanted to clarify because he was saying things that were incorrect.
Right.
Okay. So what I love about the trade is I still have no idea like how to evaluate cornerbacks. I don't sit out there like grinding film or anything, but I do trust one person more than most, and that's Ben Mentz.
Yeah.
And Ben Mentz gave me a full breakdown of Marshawn Lattimore, and he said, lockdown number 1, physical, good length, will tackle, competitive, got a couple more years in his prime, still pretty fast. Hated Dennis Allen.
Oh,
That's the big one for me.
yeah. Dennis Allen got fired, which we happened after we recorded on Sunday night.
Yeah, we got the Rizzler now.
Yeah, we got the Rizzler.
Rizzy.
That was due to happen. But yeah, the Commanders look like they're all in.
Yeah, the other teams that were interested in him were the Chiefs, I think the 49ers. So other competent organizations
Those are all in teams.
are going for him. So I'm happy. Our defense is like middle of the road ish, and with Lattimore, it would be the craziest thing in the world if the Commanders won a Super Bowl. I'm not thinking soupy, but it wouldn't be crazy.
I was looking at the schedule and the standings. I think you guys could be the 1 seed.
Yeah, I mean, the Lions have to play the NFC North.
The Lions are a much better team than we are.
But they have to play the NFC North.
That's why these next two games for the Commanders are. That's why I asked the question. I was not trying to trap you, but if they go 2-0 in these next two games, their schedule is not that
the
difficult.
1 seed's right there.
It's
the
right there.
Steelers and the Cowboys, the Steelers and the Eagles in the next 2 weeks are very big games. That if you go 2-0, that changes everything.
I think that's down to 1-1.
1-1 would be great too, though.
think
I'm saying
Yeah.
It's right there. Is the game in Pittsburgh?
The game is at home.
Okay.
But, I mean, it's Pittsburgh, so they just get on a bus.
Yeah.
And George Soros pays for their ticket down to D.C., and then they go do their thing.
Yeah. All right. So what other trades we had? We had the Lions get better. So Zadarius Smith gets traded from the Browns. He's now on his third NFC North team.
Mm-hmm.
I saw the Packers traded Preston Smith to the Steelers. Steelers also got Mike Williams from the Jets.
Memes, what are they getting for Mike Williams? Like, what kind of player is Mike Williams right now?
What do you got, Memes?
He didn't do much with the Jets, but Russell Wilson loves the deep ball, and Mike Williams is a deep ball threat. So he didn't do much with the Jets.
Okay. So you don't care about giving him up?
No, not really. But Alan Lazard is on IR, so Mike Williams did fill a hole there. But young guys got to step up.
Young guys got to step up.
Next man up.
What other trades did we have that were consequential?
Tre'Davious White.
Yeah, Tre'Davious White got traded from the Rams to the Steelers.
Who got Tre'Davious White?
All right, here we got the whole list. Tre'Davious White. I'm looking for his name. He's on the Ravens. Okay. So, a couple teams, and then obviously Deontay Johnson got traded last week, which was big.
And then Schefter posted yesterday that DK Metcalf will not be traded, contrary to speculation.
Oh.
That is how I learned about DK Metcalf potentially being traded, was Adam Schefter saying that he won't be traded.
Got it.
Yeah.
Also Khalil Herbert got traded from the Bears and then tweeted, "Thank you, God." Yeah. I would like to make a statement now that I've had a little time to have the dust settle and watch DJ Moore seemingly quit on the Bears season and Matt Eberflus be a moron. I think I need to just let go and just give up. And I see what you have, PFT, in new owners, and I think I can't let myself get my hopes up until there's new owners, which will never happen. So that it's just never going to change.
It makes a big difference.
They're never going to hire someone. They're never going to hire an alpha male. They never want a guy who's bigger than the organization since Ditka. So it's I'm just down bad. And Caleb Williams is going to get ruined. Drake May's going to be better. Jaden Daniels already better. Who else? Bo Nix is better. Michael Penix is going to be better. They're all going to be better. And I'm just back in the whole cycle.
Who do you guys have on Sunday? Patriots?
Yeah.
You have the opportunity to bury Hank's dreams, though.
But at this point, I saw a report that if there's a report, which the Bears have never done, they've never fired a coach in the middle of the season, over 100 years history. There was a rumor that if they lost to the Patriots, then Matt Eberflus would get fired. So now what am I rooting for?
Yeah, that's a trick question. I think you got to be rooting for Hank.
If you could guarantee that he would get fired, I would never root against the Bears, but I would at least have something on the other end if they do lose that game.
Yeah, but Caleb, let's say Caleb goes out, throws 3 touchdowns, no picks, 290 yards, and the defense just breaks down against Drake May. You'd be okay with that?
It's all.
I listened to Matt Eberflus's.
He's a loser.
I listened to Eberflus's press conference live, and it's bad. He is not a good coach.
No.
Nothing about the man inspires confidence. It was crazy because I was getting mad for the city of Chicago. I was like, this shouldn't be on the public airwaves here. This is obscenity, listening to him talk and just say the most innocuous coach cliches that he could think of to answer any given question. He was like, yeah, I think we got to do a better job running the football, and we got to stop the run. This time of year, stopping the run is important, and it starts with me. He said it starts with me again.
Starts with me. What are you going to say, Hank? From the troll couch.
Not the troll couch. I don't want the Patriots to win this weekend.
I don't think I'm going to be rooting for the Bears because I don't think they would fire Matt Eberflus, win or lose. That was a rumor, but they're such cheap owners and they won't do it.
I know he's a friend of the program, but I feel like when you're doing as bad as he is, getting funked up looks so much worse.
Matt Eberflus?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Like he got the poofy haircut.
He's not a friend of the program, by the way. He came on once.
Okay.
Let's not get crazy.
No, I'm just gonna say he looks ridiculous. He looks ridiculous.
Take that out of your mouth.
And that was no, I'm talking about Funk, but
Funk is a friend of the program.
Yeah.
Funk is still a friend of the program. Yes.
For the listeners, who's Funk again?
Funk is the barber who cuts most of the hair for the Chicago Bears.
but he
is a friend. He's been in this
got
office.
the poofy hair before the season, and it looks ridiculous now in hindsight that they're bad.
I've said it a million
Stop
times.
worrying about your hair.
They did it with
Worry
Mitch.
about the end of
Yeah,
games.
you say that to a quarterback that cares more about like how they dress. That guy, Matt Eberflus, he should spend more time sitting in his playbook and less time in the barber.
But probably not because he's dangerous in his own playbook. They did it with Mitch Trubisky. Obviously, Mitch Trubisky gets drafted. John Fox is the coach. They fire John Fox after 1 year. Then Matt Nagy comes in. Then they draft Justin Fields. Fire Matt Nagy after a year. Matt Eberflus comes in. They drafted Caleb Williams. Kept Matt Eberflus. They're going to fire Matt Eberflus after a year. I've done this speech a million times, but it's the same old bullshit. And basically they're like, hey, all we got to do is get our head coach funked up and everyone will think that everything's changed. Mm-hmm. And nothing has changed.
Facelift.
It's bad. So I'm in a dark place. But I'm happy for you guys. You guys have some good organizations you get to root for and fun things coming up, and it's strange.
It's honestly it's strange for me to be looking at transactions that we make and be like, I think that they have a plan.
Well, yeah, that's the thing.
The crazy thing is like Jaden Daniels he's so good at football, at playing quarterback, that he actually made our secondary better.
But it's not. Jaden Daniels is very, very good at playing football. If you had Dan Snyder and Jaden Daniels, it wouldn't work out.
Jaden Daniels.
That's the point where I came to that realization in the last 24 hours where I was like, why am I thinking that it's going to be different? It's the same people running the same dumpster fire over and over. We're going to do the same thing year in and year out.
Didn't those people win a Super Bowl, though?
In 1985.
It's been a while. If Dan Snyder was the owner of the
and they should have won more, and they didn't.
Then when Jaden Daniels got his rib broken, it would have punctured his heart, and he would have died on the field. That's the vibe that having bad ownership will give you.
It's a sick sweatshirt, PFT.
Thank you, Hank. You can find it in the Barstool store starting on Thursday.
It's almost a comforting feeling, though, because I'm just not going to – I've reached the point where I'm not going to fight it. I'm not going to fight it until the offseason. I'll fight it again. I'll be like, oh, yeah, new coach. This fucking guy. We're not going to hire Ben Johnson. We're not going to hire Liam Cohen. We're going to probably hire like the offensive coordinator or no, but maybe the defensive coordinator of like the Panthers or something and be like, well, he's next up. And I'll get myself really excited and I'll do the whole thing and I'll get pumped. And then they'll finish like 9-8 or 10-7, maybe. And then I'll be like, oh, next year's the year. And then they'll
draft Arch Manning.
Then they'll draft another guy and then they'll fire the guy we just said. So all hope, optimism is gone until July.
That's it?
Yeah.
No, you can still
team
go on a
quit.
run. You
Dude,
can still
the team
go on a
quit.
run.
DJ Moore, he's quit. He doesn't like Caleb. It's bad. Bad news.
He's a Fields guy.
He's
always been a
Khalil
Fields
Herbert
guy.
left and said, thank you, God. He tweeted, thank you, God.
Yeah.
What do you do about DJ Moore going forward?
I would trade him.
How can him and Caleb play in the future?
Don't know, Max. It makes no sense to me. Maybe something will change, and I like DJ Moore. Seems like a great guy. He is a very good receiver. Something has been off this year, and you can't pretend that that's not the case. You can't just be like, I could look over it after the Texans stuff, weird shit, like body language. But this one, I'm just like, it's I don't know. You can't look past it.
There's too many isolated incidents
Right.
to be like
Correct. Where something is up.
Each one you can look over individually, but all of them together means that there's got to be.
There's got to be something up, and I'm not blind to it. Yeah.
He misses old buddy. I think it's as simple as that. Like, he was never going to love Caleb.
No.
He just
But
saw
it's like-
Caleb as-
and he got
as-
his money, which I'm happy he got his money. Again, it's not like a personal thing. I like DJ Moore, the person. I like DJ Moore as a receiver in theory. DJ Moore on this team this year has been something. Maybe he just woke up on the wrong side of the bed.
Do you think Khalil Herbert is the first person to thank God for moving to Cincinnati?
Yeah, probably.
I think maybe in history, right?
Yeah, that's probably it.
And then we also glossed over the biggest move of the trade deadline. Jerry Jones
Yeah.
made a move. The Cowboys are
Pam Oliver?
still all in.
Oh.
Did not sign Pam Oliver. He got, was it Jonathan Mingo
Yeah.
from the Panthers?
Yeah.
So 4th round receiver from the Panthers. Jerry said that they liked him a lot in the draft. So basically, Jerry Jones has been stewing on not getting Mingo for the last 2 years.
Yep.
And so he finally righted that wrong. And now I guess Trey Lance has another target.
That's huge.
Massive.
Trey Lance. Is it going to be Trey Lance?
No, I think it's going to be Cooper Rush, but also Jerry said on his radio hit that he goes on every week and gives up way too much information about his personnel decisions. He said that it's going to be Cooper Rush, but also Trey Lance brings a lot of stuff to the table that you can't get from Cooper.
Oh.
So I wouldn't be surprised if you saw Trey Lance make his way in on some plays.
A couple Trey Lance packages?
Some Trey Lance packages. Yeah.
You need to punish them, Max. You need to beat them by $1 billion.
Yeah, I mean, Cooper. This has to be a spanking.
It has to be. You have
Cooper
to
Rush
put them
cannot be
over
in this
your
game.
You got to put them over your knee and you got to spank them
Yeah, I know.
for
Still,
60 minutes.
at Jerry World will still always scare me a little
Just
bit.
spank them, Max. Spank the fuck out of them.
They're a team that's begging for you to put them out of their
They're
misery.
like, "Daddy, please spank me."
choke
No,
me.
I'm
They're
not.
saying choke me out.
Yeah,
I'm hoping that we spank.
you got to spank.
I'm confident that we spank.
You got to spank.
AJ Brown, good news from the MRI.
What's
So
the good
hopefully he
news?
plays. No structural damage. Looks like just a bruise.
That's good.
Just a bruise.
Just a bruise. I look forward to him. I'm only
Contusion, as some may say.
I'm bummed out that we already played the Bucs because Marshawn Lattimore against Mike Evans is always fun. To
That would
watch
have been fun,
because they just rip each other's throats out every game.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else from the NFL world that we missed? I don't think so.
This is a great quote from Jamar Chase today. They asked him about getting ready for Thursday night because it's
Okay.
going to be Bengals and Ravens on Thursday. And this is from our good friend Ben Baby in Cincinnati.
Love Ben Baby. We got to get Ben Baby on.
He said they asked him if it was like cramming for a test in school, getting ready to play on a Thursday night. And Jamar responded, "I didn't study in school." Love that.
Love that.
Love that.
Cardell Jones.
LSU, baby.
Yeah.
I didn't come here to play school.
I didn't come here to play school. Speaking of Cardell Jones, all right, let me do an ad real quick, and then we'll talk some college football. We're brought to you by ourselves at Pardon My Cheesesteak. Football is back in full gear. Ordering Pardon My Cheesesteak for your game day meal or late night eats is the best play call you can make. Pardon My Cheesesteak brings you awesome cheesesteaks, loaded fries delivered right to your doorstep, and will be offering free delivery throughout the entire football season. Take your pick of our delicious cheesesteaks made with fresh, thinly sliced steak, melted provolone, mouth-watering cheese sauce, caramelized onions on a toasted hoagie roll. You can order the popular Big Cat Combo. Get your cheesesteak of choice, fries, and a drink. Find a Pardon My Cheesesteak near you or order yours now at pardonmycheesesteak.com. Use code AWL for free delivery, pardonmycheesesteak.com. I don't want credit, but I feel like we glossed over the fact that I did say Drake May, Jaden Daniels, Bo Nix, Michael Penix are all going to be better than Caleb Williams. That was big of me.
Well, I can tell that you're in your feelings right now.
I'm bad. I'm down as bad as bad could be.
I don't think that's true. I still think that Caleb's going to be a good quarterback, but
Yeah, but
Penix
probably
might
not.
fuck him up.
Probably not
He'll
because
be better than
and
Penix.
it's not against Caleb. I still believe in Caleb Williams, the quarterback. I do not believe in the Bears, the organization.
breaking moves.
Breaking news.
Max?
I mean, this is the
The
biggest
NBA
nothing
has
story of all
suspended
time.
Philadelphia 76ers Joel Embiid for 3 games
Oh,
for altercation shoving a columnist in a post-game locker room.
He's not playing the next 3 games.
wait, why isn't he playing?
Because he's recovering from a meniscus injury.
So the NBA's investigation into Joel Embiid not playing in the first several games has been usurped by the NBA suspending Joel Embiid from playing for 3 games.
Yeah, it's the domino meme. Make that memes. It's the first domino is Marcus Hayes writes a column about an investigation into Joel Embiid not playing, and then the big domino is Joel Embiid can't play for 3 games.
Per the NBA.
Struggling to follow that.
They literally were like, "Hey, here's an investigation that they're not being correct about these injury reports." Then Marcus Hayes writes his article,
Got it.
and then the article ends up with Joel Embiid pushing him, which we stand by him, Joel Embiid, that is. And now Joel Embiid can't play 3 games, but he also wasn't going to play him because he's hurt.
It's like getting suspended from school for skipping school.
Cool. I mean, yeah, sure. I feel like they were like, yeah, he'll probably be back after the next 3 games, so let's just suspend him for the next 3 games. So that.
Are you
set a
sure about
precedent.
that? You sure he's going to be back after the next 3 games?
He'll be back.
Did Paul George play well?
Nope.
Oh no!
It's okay. You got the Clippers.
Wait, are you 1-5?
What we should.
Are you 1-5?
Have
We've
you
never
started
talked
going
about
on
the NBA
tankathon
this
yet?
much. We've never
We love
never talked about the NBA this much this early in the season.
I did see I think it was from Kevin
Oh
O'Connor.
no, you guys are 1-5.
He posted.
we haven't talked about the Bucs for a second.
We talk about tankathon a lot, but I've been on there a lot because the Patriots, and sometimes I click the NBA section, and,
Yeah.
and the Sixers are 3 right now.
They're right now. Trust the process.
Cooper Flag watch.
You trust in the process.
If we got
Oh,
Cooper Flag, that'd
man.
be crazy.
But Kevin O'Connor put up a very interesting post the other day about how bad the Clippers are and how things could go from bad to worse for them. And if the Clippers somehow lucked into the like a top pick in the lottery, you know who gets that pick? The Oklahoma City Thunder.
Ooh,
So if the Clippers are bad enough, the Thunder could also get Cooper Flag.
wow.
The Pelicans have the Bucks pick, and the Bucks are in dead last right now.
Whoa. Yeah,
That
the
would
Bucks are
be-
bad.
That would be devastating.
Who could have seen the Dame Lillard trade not working out? Oh wait, I did. Bucks fans got very mad about that. That's weird. And now there's rumors like the Giannis to New York. It's
back.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
But if they don't have their own pick, why would the Bucs trade Giannis?
No, they would.
Yeah.
They should never trade Giannis
Yeah.
under any circumstance. Giannis gives you a chance. You just got to figure out another way. And the Cavs, shout out the Cavs since we're doing NBA talk. They're 8-0, and they like keep winning in crazy ways. Okay, college football. We have our first rankings out. We're recording this the afternoon. The rankings don't really matter this early with the new college football playoff setup because you're going to get the automatic teams in. So you know the four highest ranked conference winners, and then there's so much shit that's got to shake out. Like this week, we actually have true elimination games in LSU versus Alabama, a mini elimination game in Georgia versus Ole Miss because if Ole Miss loses, they'll be out. But the big story. So you want to do rankings first? What your guess is?
I'm going to guess that Indiana fans will be pissed off.
Indiana fans have every right to be pissed off because Indiana should be ranked ahead of Ohio State and ahead of Texas. Indiana's undefeated, and you could say, well, they haven't beaten anyone. True, but if you go common opponents for Ohio State and Indiana beat Nebraska by 1 million, beat Michigan State by 1 million. Ohio State did kill Michigan State, but Ohio State struggled in Nebraska.
So at this point, if we're just doing blind resumes, and if you were to just flip-flop, if you just imagine Indiana football with the Ohio State Buckeye logo next to it.
Yeah.
And if you look at who they've played, if Ohio State had played that exact same schedule and they had the exact same results, Ohio State would probably be ranked, what, number 2 in the nation?
Yeah, well, so maybe not just because Ohio State, I think you should just, like as a personal like belief, the undefeated team should be ranked ahead of the team with a loss, no matter what the schedule is. Like at this point in the season, knowing it doesn't matter because they're going to play each other.
Yeah.
Ohio State's argument, which I understand, they have the best win out of Ohio State, Indiana, and Texas because those three are going to be lumped up somewhere. They have the best win out of those three.
Best loss.
They have the best loss as well. Mm-hmm. So they lost by a point to Oregon at Oregon, and then they beat Penn State at Penn State. So Ohio State does have the case to be. I just want to see Indiana higher than Ohio State and Texas because they've been demolishing teams.
Yeah, what you're saying is at this point a great loss is better than a good win.
Well, and they also, the committee, they go like data points, and Ohio State's win at Penn State is better than anything Indiana's done.
Yeah.
So that's how they'll do it. Especially the first poll that is utterly meaningless because we're going to have so many games to figure this shit out. Just reward the teams that are that are undefeated.
There's a lot happening today in sports, isn't there?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like a day like today, Election Day, the college...
Well, Election Day's over. Pug,
yeah. But Election Day, college football playoff, and NFL trade deadline. And Maction. You just have to believe that Major League Baseball is going to announce some award at
Cy Young.
9:30 p.m. tonight.
Cy Young's coming tonight.
Right? They're gonna try to put that out and get absolutely buried.
Yeah.
I do think that Indiana should be ranked higher. That said, I think that when they match up, I would not be shocked if Ohio State beat them by a couple scores.
Yes, I think it's going to go. So I think they have to just guess with. I don't know how are they just doing the rankings and not the bracket, because the bracket obviously has to get figured out by the conference winners. Either way, it's going to be Oregon, Georgia, Miami, and BYU as of right now are going to be the conference winners that you could guess.
Mm-hmm.
Big 12 is chaotic. Big 12 has many things. BYU should get undefeated to the Big 12 championship game, but that thing is chaotic. And then it's going to be Ohio State, Texas, Indiana, probably Tennessee, Notre Dame.
SMU
SMU has a pretty... They have one loss to BYU, who's undefeated, and they beat Louisville on the road, who's was a ranked team, and they beat Pittsburgh, killed Pittsburgh this past weekend. The ACC is going to be interesting because I don't know. It looked like it was going to be Clemson, Miami the whole way, and Clemson just dropped a fucking egg against Louisville.
They got sunned.
They had no one in the stands at the end of that game. It was crazy, and they also were running Donovan McNabb offense.
Yeah,
because they were down like 3 scores, and they were the play clock was going to like 4 seconds.
Cade Klubnik was puking.
Yeah, it was bad.
Disgusting.
It was bad.
So I think SMU, they could be like anywhere between 8 and 11.
Yeah,
and I wouldn't be shocked.
And then Boise State will probably be the G5 team, but there's also, Tulane's out there. Army still has a chance. There's like 20-ish teams that are 2 losses or less and have a chance at this thing, and it's pretty fucking awesome.
So I love doomsday scenarios, right?
Yeah.
The doomsday scenario in last week, now no longer possible. Brand new doomsday scenario.
Okay.
Just dropped. If Texas loses to Florida, Georgia loses to Ole Miss.
Florida, they're on their 3rd quarterback. They have been playing a lot better.
Yeah, they've been playing better. Like it would be nuts, but it wouldn't be crazy.
I think their quarterback they put in on Saturday against Georgia was a transfer from Yale, I want to say. Imagine that.
They look good.
Imagine being...
That was a great loss, actually.
Yeah, that would. But imagine being the Yale quarterback and then having to get into the Florida-Georgia game in Jacksonville.
Mm-hmm.
That's an insane wave, difference in competition.
Yeah, and just difference in vibes in a city.
Everything.
New Haven to Jacksonville.
Yeah. All right. So
Texas loses to Florida. Georgia loses to Ole Miss. LSU loses to Alabama. Tennessee loses to Georgia. And A&M then loses to Texas later on. Then the regular season would end with Alabama, Georgia, LSU, Missouri, Ole Miss, Tennessee, Texas, and Texas A&M in an 8-way tie for first place in the SEC.
Damn.
And I think through all those tiebreakers,
Missouri's going to lose again.
They might, but if all those things happen, then I believe it would be LSU and Alabama again in the SEC championship.
That would rock. 8-way tie.
Yeah.
I'm rooting for it.
And then you'd probably there might be 2 or 3 SEC teams that are ranked higher than the SEC champion.
Yeah.
That ends up getting a bye. Just love all these doomsday scenarios.
Yeah. It's awesome that so many teams are still alive right now. And like I said, the rankings don't matter this early. But we did have, so this past weekend we had the Big 12 just do what the Big 12 does, and absolute chaos. Iowa State losing, which they could still get in, but one loss Iowa State, they don't have a great strength of schedule. Kansas State catching their 2nd loss. Now it's BYU undefeated, and Dion
Colorado
owns their destiny. They do have a tough game at Texas Tech this weekend, but if they win that game, Dion in the playoff would be incredible.
And Big Cat, do you think that there's any chance that the college football playoff cares about ratings?
Yeah.
I think they might.
Do you think that if a team made the playoff and one of their players played both sides of the ball for 120 snaps?
That might be an interesting storyline.
For a Heisman? I'm worried about Cam Ward. Cam Ward is really, really good.
Yeah, Miami's offense is probably unstoppable.
And their defense is Miami's just going to be in fun games. Miami SMU would be an incredible ACC conference championship.
I would
that game would be. I would take the over at 100.
I would predict that if Colorado and SMU are anywhere close in terms of resume, ESPN is going to be like, we need Colorado in the playoff.
They have to win out though.
Yeah,
because that's the weird thing. What happened with the Big 12 this weekend is they probably fucked themselves in being a 2-bid league, because if BYU goes and wins the whole thing, it's just going to probably be BYU.
Yeah,
BYU would have to run the table, then lose to Colorado or an Iowa State in the conference for them to have a chance at two teams. And kind of similar to what happened in the ACC. If Miami runs it and beats everyone, they might only get one.
Mm-hmm.
So it might just become the Big Ten in the SEC.
I have a question for you, Big Cat.
Yes.
Can James Franklin win the big one?
No.
Well,
that was the last thing I had is things that we need to talk about.
But wait, let me finish. So Ryan Day, can he win the big one?
If it's against Penn State, yes.
So is that a big one? Did Ryan Day just win the big one? Because I was thinking about the transitive property, the big one.
No.
And I think that Ohio State is Penn State's big one.
Yes.
But Penn State is not Ohio State's big one.
No. Penn State is Ohio. Yeah. Ohio State playing Penn State, that's not a big one for Ryan Day.
But it's a
huge one
yes.
it's everything for James Franklin. 10 out of the last 11. Same story every single year. They get in that game. They have recruiting classes on par. They have the talent on the field, except they never have like game-breaking, insane like wide receivers or guys who can win one-on-one like Ohio State does, because Ohio State always has wide receivers. I think Penn State even has an Ohio State transfer at wide receiver.
Julian Fleming. He's not very good.
But he was like the story going into this game. Like,
Yeah.
they're going to use this guy a lot because it's a revenge game.
It was that and Will Howard not being recruited by Penn State. It's like, well, he's not. He went to Kansas State first, so it wasn't. But because he's from Pennsylvania.
Drew Aller is also from
Ohio guy. Yeah. And then James Franklin after the game got in an altercation with a fan. Max, do you think that you should get rid of James Franklin at Penn State?
No.
Do you think he's hit his ceiling? Because
yes,
that was, if you were going to beat Ohio State at home, pick 6 to go up 10-0, like that was on a platter.
They'll never. I don't want to say
it couldn't have started better for them.
Well, then they play next year, and they don't with the new Big Ten. They don't play Ohio State again for another like 4 years.
Great. So James Franklin's fine.
That game was over on the interception in the end zone that somehow the Ohio State defensive back caught. I still don't know how he
at the end
caught
of
it.
half.
I mean, he's got to catch that ball. Trey Wallace has got to catch that ball.
Also, I forgot Will Howard. He fumbled out of bounds into the end zone. So you got that too.
And also the end of the game.
I mean, that was the worst.
Yeah.
And that was the part that I think would drive me nuts if I was a Penn State fan, because all you heard all offseason was you got Andy Kotelnicki and your offense is going to be explosive, and they get to a point where all they have to do is get 3 yards, and they ran the same play up the middle for nothing.
That shit sucked.
And then they like, why would you not? Why not do? I don't like Wildcat. Tyler Warren.
Get him the ball.
You can't tackle
Get
the
him
guy.
the ball.
He's a beast. Just fucking snap it to him at least once.
And then you run it 3 times. You get it to the 1, and then you decide to pass. If you're gonna pass on one of the earlier.
I know. I hate the run pass.
If you're gonna run, stick to the run.
Yeah, because it also is very like expected. Like just pass on second down.
Yes.
And they were doing that weird shit where they had their linemen split out wide, put them in motion to do absolutely nothing. That was so frustrating.
Well, that's what they did in the goal line play. They did it 3 times in a row. They had the lineman come in motion 3 times in a row for no reason.
To not do anything.
Yeah.
To lay the softest block that you've ever seen.
And then
you know what they did? They had him coming in motion, and when you see the Niners do something like this, you know Trent Williams is about to get out in front and be like a lead blocker on a smash play. They had him come in and contribute to a double team. That's why they put him in motion. It made 0 sense. Also, I love Ohio State safety. Caleb Downs?
Yeah.
Caleb Downs.
From Alabama.
Caleb Downs is a fucking monster.
And then Ohio State has a bunch of backup offensive linemen. They have the ball on their own 1 with 4 minutes to go, and then they just run for 7 yards of carry every single time to ice the game.
Yeah.
So what we can take away is that Ohio State They are good enough to be the big one, but they're not big enough to win the big one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, and they will win a fake big one this year because they'll beat Michigan.
Yep, that's a fake big one.
Yeah, that's a fake big one this year. James Franklin, got to keep him. There's no other option.
No other option.
Like,
That's what everyone keeps saying, is that it's frustrating. He is a good football coach. He puts them in a good position in the college football landscape that most teams would like to be in, but he'll never get to that A tier.
Can I
get to the
Can
A
I
tier.
throw out a name with Pennsylvania roots that I said a lot of nice things about this school earlier, so they can't get mad at me if I throw this name out there.
Oh, I know what you're going to say.
Kurt Cignetti to Penn State. I think he's from Pittsburgh.
I don't know where he's from.
Well, yeah, his dad, I think, was the coach at Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think Kurt Cignetti's probably going to get like any job in the country.
I think this might be his last job, though.
I disagree.
He's old.
I think he'll stay for maybe for a couple of
Yeah.
years, but that someone offers him.
He's going to get like $1 billion.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. I think I said it last year at the time. Alabama should have hired him. He was an Alabama coach.
I still think Kalen DeBoer is a good coach. He's just But so I agree with you. I don't think you can get rid of James Franklin. They essentially this entire playoff expansion was like going to a roller coaster and being like, you have to be this high, you have to be this tall to ride the roller coaster. And then Penn State kept on showing up and they weren't tall enough. And instead of growing, they just made it a little bit shorter. So now they're going to get into the playoff. That's essentially what happened to them this year.
They have to win a playoff game.
They have to win a playoff game. They might have a home playoff game.
The way the schedule works out, they very well could have a home playoff game.
Which would be awesome.
Whiteout?
No,
Noon?
The whiteout's this weekend.
But you're not going to white out a playoff game?
You wouldn't double whiteout?
I don't think you can.
What do you mean?
I don't know.
You can
This
do
is
whatever you
new.
want.
You got to white out a playoff.
You got to double
game.
whiteout.
I don't know if you can double whiteout.
You can double whiteout. They do double renegade.
They do double renegade.
So you can double whiteout.
If so facto, if you can do double renegade, you should be able to
Yeah.
do double whiteout.
I mean, what is the most James Franklin possible outcome to this season? So they make the playoff, they host a playoff game, and then they beat like a wildly inferior opponent.
So they're
not going to get the 5 seed.
They won't get the 5 seed, but they will most likely get, if they win out, they should get a home playoff.
yeah, top 8 seeds.
Yeah.
or the
They'll be
5
like
through
8 or 9, yeah.
But I'm
they'll
just
be
trying-
right around.
I'm
They'll
trying to
play like
think-
Tennessee and get smoked.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if you could pick like your choice of the worst of the at-large teams, then you beat them and then you get smoked in the second round by a good school. That would be like the quintessential James Franklin, good season, but.
And the Bears hire Cliff Kingsbury, and then the USC hires James Franklin. Or not Cliff Kingsbury, Lincoln Stinkin' Riley.
Thank you.
Best case scenario would be playing like BYU.
Yeah, BYU, though, they're men.
I think Penn State would beat BYU.
They're men.
Man football.
BYU's going to get a bye.
27.
Oh right. Fuck.
BYU wins
Yeah.
out, wins every game. They're a bye.
Well, they don't even need to win out, right? They just need to win the Big
Championship,
12.
yeah.
Yes. Well, I don't know what just happened to my throat. There could be like Tulane or who else? Army. If Army wins out, they could be a top 4.
Yeah.
They play Notre Dame.
That'd be
Either way,
crazy.
Penn State, James Franklin. It's just the same story every single year.
And it's not a bad story either.
Well, it is.
I think it's a pretty good story compared to what it could be.
Yeah, but
I freely acknowledge this is loser talk. Like I'm looking at this from a perspective of if you're not rooting for a perennial like top 5 team in college football,
but
Penn State is like the best of that next group.
they've won national titles. They have recruiting classes that are on par. They're not like a Wisconsin. They should be. So I think in that perspective, it is a sad story.
When was their last national championship?
The 80s?
Yeah, it's been a while.
Of course, but I'm saying like they have it's also a recruit. Like I know it's hard to get people to go to Happy Valley, but like Pennsylvania and the Ohio region, like that's a good football region.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, James Franklin like win the fucking big one. Dude.
I mean, it shouldn't be the same as getting people to go to Columbus as it is getting people to go to Happy Valley. Just Ohio State pays more money and is better at it.
Well, Columbus is a city too.
But happy, I guess. But it's like,
Yeah.
No, it's
I never
Columbus
buy
is-
that anyway. Yeah. I don't
think
really
it
buy that.
Like Penn State is an awesome college town
Yeah.
and like a great place for college kids to have a
Correct.
great
Yeah.
time.
And
And
they
they
got good
get a shit.
facilities.
And they
Yeah.
get a shitload of pros, and it's
Right.
just he just can't win the big one. Can't win the fuck. They didn't score a touchdown on offense. They had a fucking the Kotelnicki. I just like saying his name. Okay.
Also, South Carolina, awesome defense,
Yes.
fun school.
That is a team where like Shane Beamer's got him. He was on the hot seat I think last year a little bit, but like they have. If a couple bounces go a different way, they could have been a playoff team this year because they almost beat LSU, got kind of screwed. They took Alabama to the wire. Mm-hmm. That's a good football team.
Yep.
And that's a fun place on a Saturday night too. That crowd, like when I turned on that game, I bet South Carolina. I know that Texas A&M ended up coming back a little bit in the first half, but the way that game started, I was just like, all right, nice.
I want to know how different schools became the claim holders to very popular songs. So, like, you know how Michigan is now like, we're the Mr. Brightside school?
Yeah.
We invented Mr. Brightside. South Carolina having all the rights to Sandstorm is fucking awesome.
I think did that just happen because of Beamer?
I think that happened.
I thought Virginia Tech was
for a while.
Sandstorm.
No, you're Inner Sandman.
Oh, Enter Sandman. That's what I was.
yeah,
thinking, too.
Sandstorm. The like techno song.
Yeah.
It rocks. But yeah, when it's at night and they turn on Sandstorm.
They did it first, actually. I remember the clip when they first did it. So I think they were just
the first to recognize Sandstorm.
yeah.
What does Penn State have?
Zombie Nation.
Oh yeah, that's right. Zombie Nation. Yeah.
Penn State has Drake. Why?
I don't know if it was a Drake song.
Oh.
I think that they'd have Gary Glitter.
Okay.
Da-na-na-na, hey.
Hey.
Da-na-na-na.
Rock jams.
Yeah, Jock Jams.
Jock jams.
Sweet Caroline.
Now this
Sweet Caroline would be a good one for Penn State. too.
Jock
Yeah, good point.
jams. Now this is music.
Yeah, you know they're still putting out Jock Jams.
Are they still putting out now?
I think so.
Damn. That's sick.
No, that's what I call music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's like 50 of them.
Dude, Jock Jams changed the game.
Yeah.
And by the game, I mean like
Now that's what I call
little
music.
school in between innings or little league in between innings.
89 they're on now. That's what I call music. And it's now just streaming. That's kind of sad. Needed in CD. That's how it goes.
Yeah, get the jewel case going.
Yeah.
So wait, what did James Franklin do to a student?
He just got in a verbal disagreement with a fan. I don't know if it was a student or an older fan, but it was a bad look.
Did he smash his phone?
No, he didn't smash his phone. Like, you lost that game. You knew you were going to lose that game. You always lose that game. Don't act surprised. Just fucking get into the tunnel.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he like stopped and like had a conversation with the guy.
No, some guy was chirping at him, and then he asked, "What's your name?" And then the kid ran away.
Smart
Which
move.
I don't blame the kid for running away.
Good
No.
move by the kid.
But also such a narc move to say, what's your name? Because
Yeah.
he's just
Yeah.
going to, James Franklin's just
I
going to get
don't
that
know.
kid
I don't-
kicked out of school.
Yeah.
James Franklin cannot be shocked that fans will chirp him and say, fire James Franklin after he loses for the 10th time in 11 years to Ohio State. That can't be a shocking thing. He can't be like, what the fuck? Didn't you see me beat USC? Like, what does he
No,
say?
but I can understand that he's like pissed off.
But you can't, if
Yeah.
you're getting paid the amount of money that James Franklin's
Right,
getting
right.
paid, just fucking go to the tunnel, dude.
Yeah, be like Nick Sirianni. Attack your fans after a win.
Yeah.
To be like, see?
See, no, I'm the opposite. I think that what Sirianni did was worse than what Franklin did.
Getting mad at fans after a win?
Yeah. Yes.
I think that shows like nice, like good fuck you energy.
No.
Well, it shows that Sirianni's got fucking
Not when
rocks
it,
in
not
his
when
head.
it's a win against the Browns, where like
Yeah.
he barely squeaked away with that win.
Okay.
Sirianni's just got something off with him.
I think he's a good coach since he shaved his head.
I just think he's got something off.
I think it's all that hair was fucking him up.
I think Sirianni's like when he's like, if you had a window into the Eagles facility, I think some days he's screaming, some days he's like crying and asking for hugs, like just emotionally everywhere.
We just keep going back to my team.
Yeah, sorry.
That's
Okay,
true.
all right.
I got something different that's not about Max's team.
okay.
I'll save it for Hot Seat Cool Throw.
All right. Let's do Hot Seat Cool Throne. It's presented by Coors Light. No matter what happens between your favorite rivals this week, you've got a chance to win. Just go to the PMT Instagram and tell us how you prepare for a rivalry game with Coors Light for an opportunity to win the Coors Light rivalry shirt. 5 winners will be selected every Saturday until 12/7, December 7th. So remember, when rivalries get a little overheated, choose chill and keep things cool by reaching for the Mountain Cold refreshment of Coors Light. Coors Light Mountain Cold refreshment, literally made to chill. Coors Light is cold lager, cold filtered, cold packaged. It's as crisp and refreshing as the Rockies, perfect for a moment to unwind. Even the biggest rivals agree when it's time to cool things down and enjoy the game. You choose chill and then reach for Coors Light. Get Coors Light delivered straight to your door. Visit CoorsLight.com/take, or you can find it pretty much anywhere that sells beer. That's CoorsLight.com/take. Celebrate responsibly. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Henry.
My hot seat are the walls.
Oh, why?
Christian
Talk about the
McCaffrey
election?
is back in practice, looking good. So I guess Ryan Whitney also on the hot seat.
Yeah. So you really threw Ryan under the bus pretty big on that, because it was Hank's source for a while, and then it became the walls, and then it was actually Ryan Whitney is the source, and he's telling the walls.
I never reported it.
Yeah. So what do you think the walls got wrong in the story?
I don't know. I don't know what Ryan Whitney's source said. I think it was probably, pretty iffy evidence and kind of just hearsay, which is why, a journalist or someone with, higher integrity would not report such a thing. But I think it was probably just a rumor that obviously was not true. So
what are the walls saying about him being back? Have they given an update, like what happened?
the walls have gone MIA.
Oh,
Okay, so they're running away from the story.
Yeah.
got it.
Okay, gotcha.
It's a good thing you never put your name on this story.
No, thank
That would have
God.
been really bad.
I know.
Really bad.
I know.
We would have had to have our president Pug put you in jail.
Puck would love to put me in jail.
Yeah.
I like that Pug's just been there for the rest of the show. I love it. I kind of like you there, Pug.
He's president.
He's president.
But get Pug on the couch.
Just keeping watch. Just keeping watch. But
You know, any complaints that we have about the show, I'm kicking them directly to Pug.
Yeah. Okay, your cool turn?
My cool one's Ja Morant.
Yeah,
That was pretty cool.
twice.
Very cool. And it's just kind of, people forget that he had a long ass suspension and he's back.
So Hank, hand up
Wait.
for the listeners. You want to explain what Ja Morant did?
Yeah, explain what he did. He got hurt, though, too.
Right, but he hasn't played in
Yeah, but it was the
Basically
hurt
the
that
whole
was
last year.
Yeah, it was hurt more.
how
than
long
this-
was the suspension?
I can't remember.
He last
25 games.
He
But he also got hurt.
Yeah, he got
last
hurt.
year. Yeah.
He last night had a 360 layup, which does not give it justice to how sick it was. It was probably the most athletic, impressive play I've ever seen, I think.
He switched hands. He went up with his right, did a 360, then switched to his left. And
And it was like a 360 around a defender, stayed in the air, switched to his left hand, layup.
Yeah, he did a 360 no scope.
I'm not going to say that I'm not going to be – I would have liked to see him dunk it.
I disagree. In fact, watching this layup,
The dunk would have been sick.
I think they should do a layup contest instead of slam dunk contest.
Dude, if he dunked this, though, I mean, because it would be – he'd basically have to defy all gravity to dunk that. It was sick. Ja Morant's awesome.
You know why I liked watching the layup, though? Is because I thought to myself, like, with enough practice, I could possibly do that.
Yeah.
Also not true.
Not true.
But it still made me think.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
Ja Morant, cool throwing back.
All right. Good
Okay.
job.
Good job, Hank. My hot seat is bubble teams. Because
Ooh.
college basketball started last night.
Yeah.
And Cooper Flagg, I've seen enough. I think he's a legit player.
Okay.
I can report that Cooper Flagg good at basketball. And Joe Lunardi also put out his first field of 68.
I saw this.
And he included bubble teams and the first four out. So Joe Lunardi's, before any basketball is played, his first four out are Villanova.
Shit.
Max,
We looked good last night, kind of, in the second half.
first four out. Wisconsin is in his first
We
four
looked good
out.
last night.
I feel like
kind of in the second half.
I feel like Lunardi put out this entire thing just to include Villanova and Wisconsin
Okay.
there and piss you guys off. Also, yeah, he definitely did this on purpose. He also has Providence as in his first four out. And he knows that the Providence Twitter is going to just absolutely roast him, and he's a sick savage that likes getting choked out. So he was like, yeah, Providence, I'm going to kick the hornet's nest on you.
Yeah.
Also, Providence had a duck in their student section.
It was
last night.
awesome.
Hashtag the duck.
Yeah. Providence Twitter is undefeated.
So
Still need to do the interview. We will do. I've told Josh, our booker, to when Providence comes and plays DePaul, the Kim English, we need to get him in studio. So
Yep.
we'll do that.
my cool throne is North Korea.
Oh,
North Korea back on the cool throne. I don't know if this is true, but this is a very funny story, very funny report from Gideon Rockman. He said, a usually reliable source tells me that the North Korean soldiers who have been deployed to Russia have never had unfettered access to the internet before. As a result, they're gorging on pornography.
Ooh.
So North Korea sent a bunch of soldiers to go fight on Russia's side in the Russia versus Ukraine war.
Yeah.
And I don't know if the North Koreans are ever going to get there because they're all jacking off because they get to see porn for the first time.
Good for them.
That's all. Porn is the great equalizer.
Yeah.
We used to talk about how no two countries with McDonald's have ever fought a war against each other.
Yeah.
It's actually just two countries with Bang Bus memberships have never had a war against each other.
Good for them.
Good for them.
Yeah.
That's the way to solve world peace.
Yeah, just get an access to UJIS. Okay, my hot seat is Us, and it's just because I had one of those self-reflecting moments, the mirror, like looking in the mirror, being like, oh shit, I look stupid. This whole election coverage today, especially with the election, everyone tweeting confidently as if they know something when they don't know anything. It made me realize, like, this is exactly what I do with all my gambling picks, and holy shit, am I an idiot?
Yeah.
Like, people just tweeting, being like, like, this is great for this candidate, and I know it's going to be a win. No, you fucking don't.
Yeah, it's politics are sports for people who aren't good at sports.
And who are just, how do they not even watch sports?
Yeah, I don't get it.
They only get a sports game once every 4 years. Mm-hmm. Imagine if we only got one football game once every 4 years.
Well, they get preseason every 2 years.
True. But either way, I feel stupid.
But imagine a one-game season. How much
that would rock?
How much would that one game mean?
That would rock.
And then you overreact to
everything.
How good your team is because you won your one game.
It would mean everything. And then my cool throne is the Yankees and Gerrit Cole, because that was very funny. Gerrit Cole reportedly opted out of his contract because he had a clause where he could opt out, and the Yankees would have to add a year and like $36 million. The Yankees basically called his bluff and were like, okay, fine. And go ahead. And then Gerrit Cole's like, just kidding. I'm not going to opt out.
So he opted out of his opt-out.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
I like that.
Just very funny that maybe Brian Cashman's growing a set because he was just like, yeah, go ahead.
You think Brian Cashman
should have covered first, dude?
Brian Cashman was climbing a building somewhere and got a text being
Without
like,
a doubt.
He's opted out, and by the time he repelled, he's like,
Without a
he
doubt.
opted back in.
Yeah. But it was, Gerrit Cole. He just immediately was like, can I get that opt-out back?
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to do that. So he's still a Yankee. And we have the Juan Soto sweepstakes starting to heat up, Max. And everyone. I think he's going to get $700 million.
Yeah, no, I'd like to walk that take back.
Yeah, there we go.
I think he's going to get a stupid amount of money.
I think it's going to be insane.
But the fact that the way he's going about it just means that, like,
yeah,
he doesn't give a fuck who's giving him this money.
Yeah.
Not at all.
It's
he might play
great.
for, like, if Saudi Arabia started a baseball league, he might end up there.
It would be very funny if someone, I don't know what team it would be, maybe like the Diamond, or like what if the Pirates are like, hey, we're not going to actually keep him for this entire time, but let's just sign him.
Just for 1 year?
Yeah, we'll trade him.
I took a wager I took a wager on the DraftKings Sportsbook of any other team. I feel like if there was ever any other team, it would be this one because it could be anyone.
Who was the
Phillies were in the any other team, but there's also plenty. There was
who was in the other side?
I have a
Yankees, Dodgers, Mets.
here. Let me pull up I have a screenshot of it because
any other team. The Dodgers. That would be very funny.
Okay, it's the Yankees, the Mets, the Dodgers, the Cubs,
Ooh,
the Blue Jays, the Nationals, the Giants, the Red Sox, the Mariners, the Padres, the Tigers, and then any other team.
I don't know about that, Max.
Yeah.
Well, the Phillies were in the any other team, so that's why.
Yeah, there's a lot of other teams in any other team.
There's so many other teams.
And there's a lot of rich guys that own those other teams
Yeah.
that could just decide, let's make a splash.
Tigers would be a fun one.
Yeah,
Tigers would be a fun
They
one.
would be. Actually, you know what? I'm calling it. I think that Juan Soto will be signing with the Mideast Falcons based out of United Arab Emirates in Abu Dhabi. It's a league that's opening up next year.
He's in.
That's where all the money is.
He's in. Okay, let's do our interview with Brian Baldinger. Great time with Baldy, and then we wrap up with listener submitted roasts, which were great.
We'll get to Baldy in a second. He's brought to you by The Farmer's Dog. We all love dogs. They complete us. It's so true. And my dog is a farmer's dog. Blake loves the farmer's dog. Stella loves the farmer's dog. It's the best way to keep your dog happy and healthy for as long as possible. Keep all those years around. You want as many years with your best friend as you can get. We all want peace of mind that we're doing the best that we can to keep them healthy and happy. That's where the farmer's dog comes in. The farmer's dog makes and delivers fresh, healthy dog food right to your door. It's developed by vets. It's nutritionally balanced. It's made from real meat and veggies to the safety standards of human food. The farmer's dog isn't just fresh, higher quality food. They also send the food pre-portioned specifically for your dog based on their unique nutritional needs. I fed Blake the farmer's dog this morning. He loves it so much, he went downstairs. He just walked right up to the fridge, sat down in front of the fridge because he knows that's where I go to get his food. He thinks I go hunting in the fridge, and he's very proud of me when I bring out the farmer's dog for him because it's delicious. And there's no food boredom either. He still loves the farmer's dog as much as he did on day one. The farmer's dog makes it easy to help your dog maintain their ideal weight because it's fresh, high-quality food, and it's pre-portioned specifically for your dog. And if you can keep your dog at its ideal weight, it's one of the biggest indicators of a full, healthy life. Dogs at a healthy weight can live up to 2.5 years longer than overweight dogs. Get 50% off your first box of fresh, healthy food at thefarmersdog.com/PMT. Plus, you get free shipping. Just go to thefarmersdog.com/PMT and you get 50% off. That's thefarmersdog.com/PMT. Baldy's also brought to you by Amazon and Thursday Night Football. Thursday Night Football is on. It's only on Prime Video. This Thursday, one of the NFL's toughest rivalries is on as the Cincinnati Bengals face the Baltimore Ravens. Great matchup on Thursday night. Great matchup kicking off a big weekend of football. We got the Bengals and the Ravens. Joe Lamar. Join Al Michaels, Kirk Herbstreit, Kaylee Hartung for this exciting matchup. Coverage begins at 7 p.m. Eastern with football's best party. TNF tonight, live from Baltimore. With our girl Carissa, Fitzy, you got the whole gang. It's going to be a great show and a great game. And if you're not a Prime member, it's not a problem. Simply sign up for a 30-day free trial, and you can cancel at any time. It's the Bengals and Ravens at 7 p.m. Eastern on Thursday Night Football, and it's on Prime Video. Restrictions apply. See Amazon.com/Amazon Prime for details. And now, here is Brian Baldinger.
Okay, we now welcome on a very special guest, recurring guest, one of our favorite football guys in the world. It is Baldy, Brian Baldinger. You can find him on NFL Network, Fox Sports, Compass Media Networks. He's calling games every single week. Baldy, week 9, halfway point. I'm happy to have you here because we love talking ball with you. I want to ask the first question is the question that I think is probably the most important question in the NFL right now. How the fuck do you stop the Detroit Lions on offense?
Can you play with 12 men? Can you find an extra guy?
Seriously.
I feel like every team is a man short. Green Bay was a man short last week. Their offensive line, it's a battle between Detroit and Philadelphia, who has the best right now. But, Penei Sewell can move. I mean, you could just put a piano on that guy's back. He'll take it up 18 flights of stairs for you. He's just a difference maker. But they just have the perfect combination right now of Montgomery, who's your muttering closer, Jahmyr Gibbs, who's your home run hitter, and oh, by the way, Jared Goff doesn't miss an open receiver.
Mm-hmm.
So they're pretty much unstoppable on offense right now. And I don't know what defense is out there right now that can keep them under 30 points at this stage.
Yeah. I guess the formula would be just don't let their offense on the field. Just if you can,
you play keep away.
Yeah, run the
play
football.
Keep away is one way to, or limit the number of possessions. Where you can limit them to 7 or 8 possessions because they're going to get Jamison back, and J-Mo, from anywhere on the field, he's just maybe as good a home run hitter as there is in football, and so he's coming back. Which is even going to make them more dynamic right now.
Yeah. And what do you think about the trade? So they bolstered up their defense today, and so now it becomes even harder to do anything against them.
Well, sometimes you need the right guy, right? Like Zadarius Smith, to me, he's a guy that you want in your building. Got a smile on his face every day. He's a tireless worker. I mean, he's not Aiden Hutchinson, don't get me wrong, but he has that culture to him. Like, He was drafted by Baltimore. Like everywhere he's been, like he adds a little something to the team, his work ethic. He is a good pass rusher, and he's a tireless worker. Like, he's going to fit in really well. They need that right now. That was a good pickup. There was other guys out there, but Za'Darius is still playing a lot of snaps. He's not an aged veteran where you just put him on a pitch count and you send him out there. Like, he's a legitimate every down player right now.
And we were talking about this on Sunday night, but missing Aiden Hutchinson feels like the Lions, they're going to miss him for sure, but they're still a good enough team to at least appear right now to be the class of the NFC. But the problem would be if their defensive line suffered another injury and they're already down to Aiden Hutchinson. Now what do you do? So I feel like by doing this move at the trade deadline, they've just made themselves a little bit safer.
Yeah, look at, but they gave up 400 yards of offense to Tennessee the week before. They didn't look like a dynamic defense. They lost Brian Branch last week during the game. Kirby Joseph took his place. I mean, leads the league in interceptions with 6. He's had 14 in the last 2.5 years. I mean, nobody talks about Kirby Joseph on the back end, but I feel like, Hutch was a big part of the pressure that forced quarterbacks to throw the ball up to your free safety, let them come down with it. But, they're still talented. I mean, Aleem McNeil and DJ Reed are inside. It's tough to run against those guys inside. You can scheme, pass rush a little bit, but you're going to be a little vulnerable on the back end. So this just makes a lot of sense. It's the arms race right now. You're going to see a lot of teams make moves. I won't be surprised to see Jadeveon Clowney get picked up by a good team, right now, whether it's receivers, whether it's defensive linemen, guys that change the game right now, I think are going to be on the move here sometime today.
Yeah, it does feel like there's going to be an active trade deadline. All right, so the other team, I have it right now. It's obviously the Lions are the kings of the NFC right now. The Chiefs are undefeated. The Chiefs, I feel like when watching the Chiefs, people are frustrated because they don't look dominant, but I think they're just as good as they've ever been because they play great defense, they can run the ball when they have to, and they also are just insane on third down. It's essentially like every Chiefs game they fuck around and then third down comes and they figure it out. What is it like if you're an AFC contender and you're looking at the Chiefs? Is there something that can be exploited, or is it like these guys just keep doing the same thing and Patrick Mahomes is going to be there in the Super Bowl in February?
Well, they don't just keep doing the same things. I mean, DeAndre Hopkins makes a difference.
Yeah.
Look, he's been there 2 weeks. He's catching 2 touchdown passes. It's 3rd and 8, and Mahomes throws it. The good thing about Mahomes, he could care less about his stats. Everybody will talk about 9 interceptions. And, he threw the ball into triple coverage last night, DeAndre Hopkins. He already trusted him to go up and get it. And there's Antoine Winfield Jr. back there, the highest paid safety in football, and he's looking at his glove like he's got a hole in his glove.
Yeah.
Well, Hop just took it away from him. So, he scores 2 touchdowns last night. They take the drive in overtime, right down the field, 10 plays, 70 yards. If they want to run it, because some teams can't run it when they have to run it. Well, Kareem Hunt ran 20 times for 90 yards in the game-winning touchdown in the second half last night. If they want to just be a power-running football team, they're as good as anybody. If they want to throw it, like Travis Kelce the last 2 weeks, has got 28 targets and 20 catches and 190 yards. Like, if they just throw it to Kelce and Nuke right now, they're going to be just fine.
Yeah.
And then they go get Josh Uche to rush the passer. I mean, they know exactly their weaknesses, what they needed to address, and they've done it. And so they've got the best player in the league, the most creative coach in the league. They're ready to three-peat right now.
Yeah.
What do you think about Xavier Worthy? Because we all know he's fast. We all know what we saw at least like week 1 from him. He's fast. The man is fast. You can definitely say that about him. I don't know if he's a great football player right now, but he's at least a threat in theory that he's going to go downfield. Would you consider him to be a guy that's going to affect the defense at all just because you have to know that he's there?
He's like a chief gadget player at this point. You can run him on some reverses like they did in week 1 where he got a touchdown off a reverse. Last night, for him not to get his feet in bounds right there is ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just lack of awareness. And maybe he's just young, who knows. But it's just hard outside of Tyreek Hill. Honestly, it's hard for a small guy to be a dominant player in this league. It's just too easy to cover him up. All these corners. Look, Worthy can run a 4.2 in the 40 or 4.18 at the combine, whatever it was. but every corner can run 4-3. So if you're a 6'1" corner and you're covering Xavier Worthy, you're not going to get a lot of separation. You're just not. I mean, you're going to get these 6'1" corners just shadowing him. It's going to be hard to get him the ball.
Yeah.
And that's what you've seen. That's why they keep going out to get guys. Go get me. I'd rather have a big power forward than a small power forward any day. Give me, 6'4" Nuke out there over a 5'10", Xavier Worthy at this point.
Yeah. So in the AFC, who do you have second behind the Chiefs right now? Is it the Bills? The Steelers look really good. The Ravens?
Well, you got to consider the Ravens right now. I mean, they meet next week in Pittsburgh. I'll be doing that game. Like that game is just played differently than every other game in pro football in today's world. Like, it looks like I expect Troy Polamalu to walk out and Ray Lewis to walk out. Like, I anticipate just literally just full speed collisions. It's just different. It's just violent. It's so much fun. Like, I wish everybody could just be on the sideline for that game and just hear the collisions. It's going to feel like a NASCAR pileup. But you got to consider Baltimore. You got to consider Buffalo, the way they're playing, because they are an excellent running football team right now. And they use all three backs. And Josh Allen, the way that Joe Brady is putting this offense together, they just create so much space to make easy throws, whether it's to Coleman or whether it's to Shakir or to Kincaid. It doesn't matter. Like, they're creating space, and then Josh can create his own offense when he needs to. And so you have to consider Buffalo. So Baltimore, Pittsburgh, Buffalo for sure. And I don't want to count Cincinnati out yet. They just made a move to get a running back because Burrow is just he's just a flamethrower. He's an assassin. He's just going to keep firing until they get this thing right, and they're still in it. So these games are going to be big down the stretch. They're in a crypt, but if anybody can come out of a crypt, it's Joe Burrow.
So you mentioned Cincinnati. They picked up Khalil Herbert from the Bears. I have to ask a difficult question about the Bears because it's ugly right now. And Khalil Herbert also said, "Thank you, God," when he got traded. So that doesn't feel good. So the tape, I actually watched some of it on Monday, which I tortured myself. What is the fix for me? And you can tell me if I'm way off, but it does feel like Caleb Williams is pressing a little bit where there's some easy stuff underneath. Take the ones they give you and a lot of home run stuff. And I don't know, like, the locker room feels bad. Everything feels bad right now. Is there something on tape that you're watching that you're like, this is how they can maybe right the ship a little bit?
Well, some of the things that they do defensively, first of all, I'll get to Caleb. But, DeMercado goes 50-something yards, with 20 seconds to go in the half. I don't know what defense they're in. I don't know. They're blitzing on the play. Like, it's 20 seconds to go in the half. Just like the week before against Washington, you just give, Terry McLaurin, 13 yards of field position from 6 seconds to 2 seconds to throw the Hail Mary.
Yep.
Like, it's just something's just missing their defense because they're a good defense. They just give up these plays that they shouldn't give up.
Yeah.
Then offensively, you can't take anything away from the cornerback play of the Arizona Cardinals. Mm-hmm. They D'd up every receiver. DJ Moore. They D'd up, Keenan Allen. They D'd up Roma Dunze. They were all over the place, those defensive backs. And so I give Arizona a lot of credit. And then, Budda Baker, his blitzes and timely blitzes. And then the offensive line of Chicago, honestly, they're not very good. They're very average. When they run the ball really good, the offense looks a lot better like they did when they had a little win streak going. And that kind of, they lost the left tackle against Washington. Then they lost Jenkins against Washington. They got these backups in there. They had this kid, Armigagey from Yale, their third-round pick. I mean, they didn't even dress him last week. He was so bad against Washington. He was an inactive player. So, they don't have good depth there behind the five guys, and the five they have are just an average group right now.
Yeah. It's bad. It's ugly.
You mentioned the Bengals. I think this is as close as you'll ever see to the Bengals being all in on a season because this is the third trade that they've ever made as a franchise in history. They've only traded for three guys.
And it was for a backup running back.
And it was for a backup running back. The Cincinnati Bengals, ladies and gentlemen, are all in right now.
Brown, I wouldn't say that Mike Brown throws money at any issue. Not really their style in Cincinnati.
Yeah.
But, they lost Zach Moss. I don't know how long he's out for. He was their starting running back. So, They got Chase Brown, who's a good back, and Khalil Herbert. I never really understood why Chicago wasn't playing him. I thought he was a really good back with Montgomery there. He's had really good days in this league, and he's not playing. So they went with Roshan Johnson. So he's fresh as can be. He hasn't played at all this year, but I think he's still a good back. He's a good contact runner. They want to be able to balance things up a little bit. And so, if you put Khalil in there in that offense with Chase Brown and you get T. Higgins and that receiving core with Jamar, like offensively, they're capable of putting 30 up on anybody.
Yeah. And then on the NFC side of things, Baldy, you watch the tape. How much tape are we grinding these days?
Oh, every game. every game, every week.
Yeah. When are you done with every game? Like, what time of the week are you done with every game?
Well, I got a little head start on Sunday because I did the Eagles game against Jacksonville, so I was able to come into my office here at NFL Films after the game and get a start. So usually it's 15 hours on Monday, and it's 15 hours on Tuesday, and I try to get all of them done by Tuesday night, but sometimes it leaks into Wednesday.
Yeah. That's awesome.
I feel like, honestly, there's bad teams in this league, obviously. Darren Rizzi's taken over for head coach in New Orleans. They're a bad team, but they have some good players on the team. So I feel like all 32 teams should get represented by Baldy's breakdowns.
Yes.
I love it. You owe it to them. You owe it to the players. It's actually funny. You watch more football on Monday and Tuesday than you do on Sunday.
Yes. Oh, for sure.
That like twice as much. That's awesome. So one question I had about the NFC side of things is the 49ers, because we feel like the 49ers could put it all together. Kyle Shanahan, pretty good coach in the second half of seasons, not necessarily of games, but of seasons. And so if everyone's kind of like waiting for them to get on that little roll here, what do you see in the tape from the 49ers so far? Obviously no Christian McCaffrey yet, but what do you see on tape? And does it tell you that this is still a good football team that can improve, or is this a flawed football team?
They're not what they were the last 2.5 years without McCaffrey, but they still run the ball very well with Jordan Mason and Isaac Guerrero. They've been excellent in the run game. They lost Ayuk. He was never really a big factor after the holdout. So, maybe Ricky Pearsall can pick it up. Kittle's having an amazing season. The quarterback has thrown 10 touchdown passes in 8 games. It's not good enough. They're not good enough in the red zone right now. But maybe Pearsall coming on. Maybe McCaffrey started practicing. Maybe he comes back. We don't know what we're going to get yet. And defensively, they've been good. They just haven't been great yet. I expect them to make a move for a defensive lineman here at some point today.
Maybe Clowney?
Maybe help up front. But the thing that's held them together, honestly, is they got an awesome rookie class. Like this Dominic Pooney, this Mustafa Green. You look at the Pearsall, like they're got Guerrero. Like their rookie class has been amazing, and all good teams need juice from their rookies. But the NFC West right now, Arizona leads it at 5-4. They just made a move to get a defensive pass rusher. The Rams are going to make a second half push. They're too well coached, and they're getting good players back. And the 4 guys they've drafted on the defensive line, Fisk and Verse this year, Brown and Turner last year, like they're really good and only getting better. So it might come down to the 49ers at Arizona in week 18 this year to see who comes out of that division.
Yeah, it's crazy. The NFC West has 4, I wouldn't say no one's running away with it, but the 4 teams that they have are all good teams, can beat anyone. So week 9 is right around where we're getting to the real football and the narratives, kind of like, hey, early season narratives are you are what you are. What team is it that you're watching that you're like, hey, this team is starting to play really well and people aren't really paying attention to it right now? They maybe started a little bit slower and they're in the muck and they're not the Chiefs or the Lions or the Ravens, but they're coming on and they're going to be a force at the end. Maybe it was just the Rams, but if you have another one.
Well, even last night, Tampa's playing without Mike Evans right now, but he's the biggest red zone threat in this league since Randy Moss. And they're not going to have the same firepower without Mike Evans, but they've dealt with their share of injuries. Nobody's making any excuses, but they're running the ball way better than they ever have. And Baker's playing good football. And maybe they should have gone for 2 when they scored, at the end of the game last. Maybe they should have gone for 2 on the road to go win the game. Maybe that would have been the right call. Who knows? But they took Kansas City to the brink. I think they still are a good football team. I know Atlanta's got a 2-game lead on them in the division, But I believe that they could still be a good second half team. They're playing a lot of young guys. That's not a bad thing. Sometimes if you got the right guys, they're going to be a lot better at the end of the season. They started a corner last night that's never started or played before. Like sometimes these guys just need to get seasoned, and they could be good additions at the end of the year.
Yeah, the Bucs is a good answer too because their schedule, I think, gets a little bit easier. They've been playing some really, really good teams. I know they have the 49ers this week, but after that, they still got to play the Panthers, I believe, twice.
Yep.
They still got to play the Saints. They have the Raiders. Like they can, and the Cowboys. I mean, the Cowboys are dead, right? That season's over.
Well, we said this though, when free agency hit, and the Eagles were out there signing, Saquon Barkley and making all these moves, and the Cowboys were signing a long snapper. Like we said that the roster isn't good enough to compete. And then you look at Dan Quinn leaving Dallas and bringing in, 15 free agents that are all starting. And they're all, whether it's Bobby Wagner or Frank Louvu, you just look at what they did. They rebuilt the team, and they're much better than Dallas right now. So I just look, they've played without Micah Parsons and Tank Lawrence. Nobody would be good defensively without those guys. But, offensively, they're a challenged football team. I don't know what Jonathan Mingo does for this receiving core right now.
All in.
I played for the Cowboys. They always had great running backs, always. You're going back to Dan Reeves and, Walt Garrison, Tony Dorsett and Emmett. To see them line up with the running backs they have is just a mystery to me. You study the history of that organization.
Yeah.
In the NFC East, it does seem like it's down to two teams, the Commanders and the Eagles. I am a Commanders fan, but I feel like I'm a realistic Commanders fan in that I think that the Eagles have a better roster than us. I think that they're a better team than Washington right now. But Washington's on a roll. They beat every team that they should beat. They've struggled against some of the better competition they played. But how do you see it shaking out between the Eagles and the Commies?
Well, I mean, right now you can't get Jaden Daniels to make a mistake. He just plays mistake-free football every week. And it's not because he's playing conservative football. I mean, the guy's just he's Lamar Jackson, what he's been able to do right now. And Cliff Kingsbury's been perfect for him. And so their offense is really good. I think defensively they're very average. They've been playing with a big lead. And so Dan Quinn's been able to blitz a lot to get pressure. And if they give up a play, they've been able to overcome it. But I think they're average on defense. But you wouldn't know it by watching how confident they play right now. So, but they're a legit offense right now because of the way they can run the ball, control the ball. They score at a very high percentage right now of possessions that they get. And so it's hard to get the ball away from them. Giants tried like hell last week. They couldn't get it away. They couldn't get them to make a mistake. So they win these close games because of that.
Yeah, 3 turnovers this year. That's a record so far. It's crazy. Only 3 turnovers this far through the season. And the Eagles, on the other hand, though, the Eagles do seem like they've figured something out in the last 3 weeks.
Yeah,
they have. They look like a different team. So what have they figured out?
Well, I mean, some of the players went to Nick during the bye week, and they're like, look, we're holding the ball forever. We're getting away from the run game. Let's just get back to running the ball and play action passes. And that's what they've been doing. And with that, I think Saquon's going to win the rushing title. I know Derrick Henry leads the league in rushing, but I think Saquon's going to win it. I think their offensive line is better than Baltimore's. And I think that you watch Mekhi Becton in there at right guard, he's just, he's just a freak. The way he can move people with Lane Johnson and, they're going to get Mulata back and Landon Dickerson. If they just keep running it and get A.J. Brown back and play action pass, they're going to be a very difficult offense to stop.
Yeah.
Whoever they play. They just pulverize people right now. Dallas better wear that double chin strap this weekend when they come down there to Dallas to play them. It's always a battle with these two teams, but I think Philadelphia can really attack Dallas where they're the weakest. They're bad run defense. And they might look like that on Sunday.
Yeah. And it's Saquon Barkley would be going for the rushing title in the last week of the season against the Giants. And I don't think that Saquon's going to take him out like he did a couple weeks ago.
That'll make every Giant fan feel good.
Yeah, I think Saquon in that one, he's going to be like, yeah, you know what, screw the younger guys. I'm going to just play the full game here.
Yeah.
Well, he's on pace for over 2,000 yards. So he's he's playing the best he's ever played.
Yeah, he's been incredible. So, Baldy, on Monday's show, we talked about there's 9 teams that have 2 wins, which is crazy. We came up with the concept, the Tooper Bowl, where we're going to have a Final Four of the 2-win teams. I think what do we have? The Dolphins winning it all?
I think we had the Dolphins.
Are you guys putting that up against the Puppy Bowl?
Yeah,
we should. Yeah, we should.
Listen, the fact that there are 9 teams with 2 wins is actually like mathematically almost impossible to have right now.
It's crazy. So my question to you though is 2 wins, you're not going to go to the playoffs. Statistically, it is almost impossible. But one or two of those 2-win teams is going to be spoiler, is going to play better than they are right now in terms of their record. Who are those teams? What are the 2-win teams that you're like, watch out? That's not an easy one. They are still playing hard, and they still got a lot of talent.
Oh, Tennessee Titans.
Yeah.
Tennessee for sure. Like they legitimately can run the football. Pollard's having a good season. Bill Callahan's coaching the offensive line. J.C. Latham was the right pick at left tackle. Skoronski was the right pick the year before. They're building their lines. You look at teams that end up turning things around. Look in the trenches and see what they have. Watch Devon. Like one of my favorite players in this league is Devondre Sweat.
Yep.
I call him T-Pain because he just brings pain. He's 360 pounds. He can run. He can make life miserable for any offensive line. You put him next to Jeffrey Simmons. They've been in a lot of games. They won last week. They put up 400-something yards offense against Detroit the week before. That's a team that if you have that bowl game on Super Bowl up against the Puppy Bowl, I watched the Titans against somebody else instead of the Puppy Bowl.
You got to, by the way, T-Pain's a good nickname, but his nickname's Meatloaf. You got to go with Meatloaf.
I know.
Yeah.
The Meatloaf is good, but anybody could call a big guy Meatloaf. I feel like T-Pain is a good rapper's name. It's a great, I'm changing it from Meatloaf to T-Pain.
Okay,
I love watching that kid play.
Yeah, I agree with you on the Titans. I've been ridiculed because I've been betting them a lot because I think their defense is still a top 10 defense, and they've had trouble at the quarterback. So that's one. What's another 2-win team that people should be looking out for? Where it's like, hey, don't take them lightly. They'll play spoiler.
Well, the Giants. Look, the quarterback, is a problem, but they have talent.
Yeah.
You look at, Brian Burns, Dexter Lawrence, Ojulari, Okereke. They've got talent. Offensive line has actually played pretty good, considering they lost their best player, in Andrew Thomas. They've actually played pretty good. This Tyrone Tracy running back, this kid out of Purdue, he's had some big games this year. And Malik Neighbors might be the best rookie wide receiver. They still have talent. They're in these games. They could have beaten Cincinnati. They could have beaten Washington last week. I know coulda, woulda, shoulda. I know all that, but still, they still play hard. They haven't packed it in yet. You could question coaching decisions, some of the stuff, but I wouldn't take that team lightly on any given week.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about the Saints interim head coach? Because we're big fans.
Rizzi?
Yeah. He looks like a football guy, and one of the things I like about him is on his Wikipedia page, when you look up any biographical info about this guy, all they have is just football. So he's only done football. There's absolutely no fun facts about him out there, which I think is good for an interim head coach. But can you tell us something about him? What should we expect from him?
Well, he's got the best military Marine Corps haircut going in the NFL. It's right. It's Johnny Unitas. It's right out of the 50s, He's been in Miami and New Orleans since leaving, the small college ranks. He's been special teams coach, and he's been an assistant head coach in a lot of places, like he is now. He was the assistant head coach here in New Orleans. He was assistant head coach when Dan Campbell was down in Miami. And if you look at one little aspect right now of what they've done in New Orleans, he believes in putting the ball in play on kickoffs and covering the kickoffs. If you look at them, they probably have returned more kicks, had teams return the kicks more than any other team. And he does it for 2 reasons. One, he wants his coverage team to get action. And sometimes your defense is a product of your kickoff coverage team. And then number 2, he tells me that 1/4 of all kicks have a penalty by the receiving team, which backs you up. And instead of getting the ball at the 30, you might get it at the 15. And so I just think that's a creative aspect to this whole kickoff rule that looks boring to everybody else. But in New Orleans, they've been covering kicks all year, and they've actually had good success doing it.
Yeah, yeah. Baldy, I got to ask this question because of our producer, Memes, who's a diehard Jets fan. Is there a path?
Yes.
Oh,
there's a path.
Okay.
There's a path. They go to Arizona. They go to Arizona after this bye. And so, look, you beat a good team on the road. Arizona is a good team right now. They don't beat themselves. You go down there, beat Arizona, you get to your 4th win. All right. And now you start that feeling. You can see how Aaron and Devontae are starting to come together. You saw what Aaron and Gerrit's doing. And they actually played that game against Houston with 2 backup guards in there. They had the rookie in there, Olu Fashanu at right guard, Max Mitchell at left guard. They actually look better. If they have injuries at the offensive line and Morgan Moses can't make it, or Tyron Smith just falls apart because of his age. I feel like they got backups in there that can get Breece Hall going. There's a path because I think the best football can still be in front of them.
Yeah. Okay.
He's gonna love that.
That got Memes very excited.
You just gave him life for the next 2 weeks.
That AFC playoff picture is going to be very interesting because you got those 5 teams, you could say right now, in the Chargers, the Broncos, the Colts, the Jets, and the Bengals, and it's going to probably be 2 spots for those 5 teams. And if everything else holds in terms of the Steelers and the Texans, everything, I love the Chargers. I love the way they're playing football. I don't know what that 7 seed would be. I don't know who's going to get hot. If it's the Bengals, the Jets. I mean, the Broncos are a 5-win team. They obviously looked bad against the Ravens, but they have some nice things as well.
Oh, well, I mean, up until last week, Baltimore just, it was just too much Lamar. He was just, he had his 4th perfect quarterback rating. Oh, by the way, that's the most in NFL history of anybody, Peyton Manning, anyone. 4 perfect quarterback games. I mean, they couldn't do anything to stop them. But Denver's a legit defensive team. They're very well built. And look, the quarterback was not great last week against Baltimore, but Sean Payton's done a good job coaching that kid. They're well coached. They're going to win their share of games here and be in the playoff picture into December.
Yeah.
What about the Chargers? What about our guy Harbaugh? He's done a great job so far. The Chargers haven't looked splashy. They haven't looked flashy. They're not a sexy team right now. They're playing great defense. What is making the Chargers?
Well, not just great defense. They're the best defense in football right now. They've had 3 games this year where they haven't given up a touchdown. And last week, they're doing it with 2 rookie corners, 2 5th-round corners that are starting, and they were able to keep everybody out of the end zone there. Cleveland, who came off a great game, and Jameis Winston looked like Jameis Winston, the way what we're used to seeing Jameis last week against them. They played great. They've always been a bad tackling team and an injured team. Well, they're not an injured team right now, and they're not a bad tackling team. So the Harbaugh effect is taking effect, and now they're getting plays. Lad McConkey is becoming a really good player, and Quentin Johnston. Now Cleveland just gave him 3 touchdowns last week. I don't know what they did. The right hand wasn't talking to the left hand. The left guy's wide open, but still, I mean, this is they're gonna make noise. They're playing the way Harbaugh wants them to play. If they're not, but when you are the number 1 defense in football, you're the number 1 defense in football. If teams aren't scoring touchdowns, you have a chance to win every week.
Yep.
Yeah,
they've been great. And so, Baldy, one thing I love about you, obviously the film, you watch all the film, but you have a love of just physical football and the most physical dudes in the league. Who's one guy that you've been watching this year that's getting you excited? That's that's a physical man.
Well, I mean, I love watching Dominic Pooney play in San Francisco. Every team needs a Pooney, he's just, and look, I mean, we never talk about guards, but guards are people too.
Yeah.
That guy's played every snap for San Francisco this year. He's just a great, he's a great kid. Doesn't say 2 words. Tafondre Sweat. T-Pain is legit.
Meatloaf.
That guy, people that are 370 pounds shouldn't be able to move like that and play 70% of the snaps. He's fun to watch, and then if you look at Daniel Falalele in Baltimore at 390 pounds, you can't, he's an eclipse. He just blocks out the sun. There's a reason why Derrick Henry runs behind him for these 10 touchdowns he's run for. You can't see around him. You can't see through him. Like, those guys are just fun to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Every team needs a pony.
Yeah. All right, Baldy, this has been so much fun. I got one last question for you. It's the Roback question, RHOBACK.com, promo code TAKE. 20% off your first purchase, Q-zips, polos, hoodies, joggers, shorts, Roback.com, promo code TAKE. What team that you watch the tape is doing something, whether it be offensively or defensively, that you're like, wow, this is stuff no one else is doing right now? I mean, obviously we know Ben Johnson, Kevin O'Connell's a great coach, but what's an under-the-radar coordinator that you're like, man, this guy is dialed in and he's hitting all the right buttons?
I feel like Joe Brady in Buffalo is that guy. Like, I was just watching and studying the game this weekend against Miami, which was a great game. Tua couldn't play any better. But what he does by formations and his route combinations is he just creates space. Like, you could take 3 receivers on one side and run them on vertical routes, and all you're doing is creating space for somebody coming on a drag or a cross, and there's this big window there. And he constantly – and it's easy throws for Josh. And and then, they run it more than they throw, like all the good teams in the league now. It's been a huge shift. Like, there's 10 good teams in this league that are like the Eagles that are running it 56% of the time, the most in the league. But Baltimore, Detroit, San Francisco, Kansas City's 50-50. Like, the best teams in the league are running it more than they're throwing it now. But then if you look at the coordinators, what are they doing in the passing game? Like, they're making these throws really easy and identifiable for Josh. He'll take all the easy throws you want to give him. And then, at the end of the day, when he has to make a play, he's still Josh Allen. So I feel like Joe Brady in the passing game right now is very under the radar.
Yeah, that's a good answer.
Yeah, so what teams out there could be thinking soupy right now? How many teams are actual Super Bowl contenders?
Give them to us on your
– 8 legit.
Yeah, count them with your hands. I want to see your hands.
Well, I mean, you go, Detroit, Philadelphia right now, Baltimore, Kansas City. Like, those 4 look like Final Four teams. But, you got to consider what Minnesota can do because the firepower and offense and what Flores does on defense. You got to still consider Houston. They're going to get Nico Collins back. He's going to make a difference right now. You feel like either the Rams or the 49ers, one of those 2 teams is going to come out of the West, and they'll be really well tested. I wouldn't go to sleep on Atlanta at all. Bijan looks like he's poised to have a great second half of the season, the way they used him last week. Drake London, Pitts, what Kirk is asked to do. And defensively, they've got playmakers in the back end. Like, I feel like those are 8 legitimate teams right there.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's as much as the 9 2-win teams, and there's some bad teams, it does feel very wide open at the top, and the fact that we have some great football coming up.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, this is going to be like, it's going to be Thanksgiving before we know it. You're going to get 3 games on Thanksgiving. Look, maybe Dallas Giants doesn't float your boat on Thanksgiving, but other games will. Then we get to the holiday season where we have games Saturday and Sunday all the way through this, and Monday night and Thursday. So it's going to be all football all the time when we get to December. And these games are all going to get flexed. You're going to get great games in these windows. And so just get on your couch and get your remote ready.
Yeah.
I love it. Are you going to wake up to watch the Germany game, the Giants and the Panthers?
Well, I'm always awake, so I don't have to worry about that. I want to see the Panthers. Because I think that Robert Hunt is an underrated guard, and Chuba Hubbard can run through anybody. So yeah, I'm anxious to see that game.
All right,
you're the only one.
Love it.
You're the only one anxious to see that game. It's great.
Well, I'm always got an eye on the Giants, just because I still feel like there's something still there that maybe they can unlock. Like 2 years ago, they made a run to the playoffs. Nobody thought they could. Like, who knows? Maybe it just gets unlocked.
You've inspired me to be a better football fan.
Yeah.
I was considering taking that game off, but you might have talked me into it.
Yeah. All right. Well, Baldy, thank you as always. We love having you on. We'll have you back on closer to Christmas time.
Let's
talk
do
some
it.
more football, and you're the best, man.
Appreciate it, guys.
Baldy was brought to you by Nutrafol. As we transition to fall and our schedules get busier, back-to-school activities for the kids, tighter work deadlines as we approach the end of the year, or the start of holiday preparations, it's so easy to forget about taking care of ourselves. During this busy season, one simple but effective thing you can do for yourself is to start taking Nutrafol. Nutrafol is the #1 dermatologist-recommended hair growth supplement brand, trusted by over 1 million people. See thicker, stronger, faster-growing hair with less shedding in just 3 to 6 months with Nutrafol. If you're even thinking about starting, don't wait. The longer you wait, the harder it's going to be to get that hair back. Start right now. Thinning hair is different for men and women, so a one-size-fits-all approach to hair growth doesn't cut it. Nutrafol has multiple formulas for men and women that are tailored to different life stages. While many supplements rely solely on ingredient studies, Nutrafol clinically tests final formulations to ensure their efficacy. With the Nutrafol subscription, building a hair growth routine is simple. You purchase online, no prescription required. Automated deliveries and free shipping keep you on track. Plus, you can save up to 20%. You'll have access to free naturopathic doctor consults, and a Headspace membership is included. Get results that you can run your fingers through. For a limited time, Nutrafol is offering our listeners $10 off your first month subscription and free shipping when you go to Nutrafol.com and enter promo code PARDON. Find out why over 4,500 healthcare professionals and stylists recommend Nutrafol for healthier hair. Nutrafol.com. That's spelled Nutrafol.com. Promo code PARDON. That's Nutrafol. Promo code PARDON. Don't wait. Try it right now. Be a nice holiday present for yourself. Baldy was also brought to you by Hey Dude. Jingle all the bells, deck the halls, and make the snowman extra frosty, because it's officially the Holidude season. We're taking all the magic of the holidays and adding the one-of-a-kind style, go-to comfort, and stoke that Hey Dude is known for to get a holiday season that's unlike anything else. Give the gift of go-tos and don your dudest apparel, because you and all your go-tos are invited for the Hey Dude Holidude season. Nobody has more fun around the holidays than Hey Dude, and these Holidude offerings are the perfect gift for fans of the brand and newcomers alike. Nothing says Hey Dude quite like holiday novelty prints. This is Holidude season. Our most iconic silhouettes are getting their annual festive update. They've got the Wallies and the Windies. They will don holiday garb and prove once again to be the life of the party. I've got my Hey Dudes right behind me. They're some of my favorite shoes in the world. Perfect house shoes, perfect dog walk shoes, perfect go out and check the mail shoes. Big Cat just put in his order about 15 minutes ago for his Hey Dudes. You can shop the Windy and Wally holiday styles this season at heydude.com. heydude.com.
Okay, let's wrap up with some listener-submitted roasts. Appreciate everyone subscribing. Keep subscribing on Spotify and iTunes. It's a very big help. It still blows my mind when I go look. You know, there's the top podcast charts, which are just like, we've been around for so long that we're just somewhere in there. But when you go look at top episodes on both Spotify and iTunes, it's just politics. Oh, our two dumbasses. Politics. So thank you, everyone who subscribed. It's crazy to look at. Hopefully, maybe we can climb the charts now that the politics are over.
Yeah,
we're done with politics.
Yeah, politics is over. Politics is a one-day season.
Yeah,
and so
you had your time.
You get the long preseason that lasts 364 days, and then the regular season, and sometimes overtime. And maybe if we want to get on the politics charts, we'll just have Hank do a politics podcast.
Ooh,
Hank's Political Corner.
I did say that it would be funny if we had titled this episode like Decision 2024, just to see. People would be pissed, but it would have been funny.
I did vote, Hannah. I voted 4 times today for Pepsi Rookie of the Week.
Nice.
Yeah.
There you go. All right, Hank.
Did we bump up memes on the iTunes after we told people?
The Spotify. Spotify has a new
Spotify.
subscribe.
No, I thought it was.
Yeah, no, it's
It's Apple.
Yeah.
All right, so do it on both, please.
we did not bump up. We're not in the top 100
fuck?
yet.
God damn it.
I don't understand.
Yeah, but the episodes we're every time there's a new episode, we're like it literally is like it's like Joe Rogan, The Daily,
Yeah.
some other politics, and then us.
Well, and there's always one new podcast that comes out just so that they can screen grab it and be like, look at us, we're a top podcast.
Yes.
And then that goes away after.
Yeah.
like 2
We're
weeks.
currently at number 5 on Apple's top episodes.
Top episodes, nice.
All right, so what we have to
And
do.
who's ahead of us? Just politics.
Elon Musk on Rogan.
Yep, fair.
The Daily.
Yeah.
And then what's it called?
Yeah, that's right. I
yeah.
forgot about the
The
murders.
true crime.
And then on Spotify, I think we're 7th right now on top episodes, and it's the same. It's like It's Joe Rogan 1 through 3, Caller Daddy, and then us.
So what we have to do if we're going to engineer how we can climb these charts, we already talked about maybe getting Hank to date like Rihanna or Beyonce, Cardi B, top female celebrity. Hank should also do politics, and Hank should also commit a murder that me and Big Cat can solve.
We solve that.
That would be great producing, wouldn't it? If you killed somebody, then me and Big Cat did like 5 episodes trying to find out who did it. Turns out, plot twist, it was Henry.
I'll get crazy. If you do those 3 things, you can get out of the dunk bet.
No, dunk bet's almost over.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm saying you don't have to pay it
I think Hank should be eligible for unlimited golf for an entire year.
if you kill someone.
If you murder somebody,
Yeah.
and we get to solve the mystery.
You got to do a good
if
job
Yeah.
of killing someone because
I don't want you to solve it
Well, maybe maybe we're just inconclusive at the end.
Yeah.
because then I don't get unlimited golf.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll figure it out. Maybe just date Rihanna. That's easier.
Fine. We got 4 roasts today. Listener watched PMT to see Big Cat fluctuate weight while their co-host suffers a midlife crisis revolved around hair treatment, buying muscle cars without putting gas in them, and falling for his new QB. You were forced to stick around to see the VP of nothing pretend to make decisions about his producing team while they scheduled coups and have a hefty Italian steals the mic from a lovable man-child and his aggro-roided friend.
Oh, that's Memes. Memes has got a bad reputation around here.
Memes is roided now.
Yeah, I like that's
honestly
actually.
that's
maybe that was
a compliment.
Billy? But Memes got there was some scuttlebutt because Memes apparently tried to fight someone during pickup basketball on Friday, which
That's
means
fact.
I have your back now that I know that Jack McCarthy tried to take you down midair. That's a fight-worthy play.
It was a walk-in layup.
Yeah, that's a fight. That's a fight-worthy play. If you're in the air, that's a dangerous play. You do have anger issues, though.
I could get to a point where I get very angry, but
I mean,
I think it's fine.
And we got a bunch of babies though. Like it was not that serious. Like it wasn't
you-
like
yeah,
it
Have you
wasn't-
seen the tape?
He was
Were you
there.
there?
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, so I'm on Meme's side.
I mean, Memes went up to Jack McCarthy, screamed in his face, "Do you want to go?"
You want one?
So I don't know
want one, buddy?
how much closer it can get to fighting.
Can you narrate it for us? Because we haven't seen the tape. We don't know
I
what
didn't see
happened.
that
I heard from what Memes told us about the play. What was the play?
It was the foul, right? The one
Some
that said-
people.
Yeah,
all
I didn't see the foul.
all right, Hold on, hold
I
on,
didn't see the
hold
foul.
on.
I just saw
I
the
want to
scuttlebutt.
hear.
Hold on, I
hear
gotta
from
give a
somebody
little.
else.
I gotta get a little context though
Well,
before
can I
you
give
talk
you-
about the play because some people are saying Memes was called for a travel on the play before and he was mad about that.
That was the base of all anger.
Okay, all right.
For
So
sure.
let's take it from the start. So Memes flagrantly traveled.
Yes,
I was not
8
playing in the
steps.
game, so I didn't see any of
It was
any of what
some
went into
would
it.
say it's a gather step.
8
Crab dribble.
steps. I heard 8 steps.
I was coming down, spun,
We're gonna have to get this tape.
took 2 extra steps, threw it up behind me, hit off the backboard, went in. It was a sick play.
Okay, so you spun and then took 2 steps. That sounds like a walk.
The gather step was a spin.
Okay, all right. So go ahead, Hank.
But if it misses, then I probably was just like, yeah, it was travel.
Yeah.
No, that was it. I just don't. I think
Did you?
when you're playing competitive basketball, sometimes like
Yeah.
tensions rise, but it's not that. It wasn't that serious.
What happened?
What Memes just said. He just said it.
The
That was a walk.
I didn't think it was a walk. I didn't think it was.
No, I'm
like
talking
that.
about
And then they were just John.
yeah.
But on the layup.
Was he? Did he pull him down?
I didn't think so. I thought it was. I mean, it was a physical play. Like
Yeah.
it
No
wasn't-
easy buckets.
90s basketball.
Not even. Everyone's just divas.
Dude, what do you think about? Do you want to go? I mean, Memes does have. I defend Memes here Memes also does. I mean, there was that time, was it 2 weeks ago when I came in and Memes, I think he had his fist clenched for like 3 hours because I walked in and he looked like he wanted to punch it.
That's fair, but I think there's like, you can ask someone if you want to go. If you actually throw a punch, then you have an anger problem. But like,
that's true.
Like when you're in
Good point.
when you're in a heated, if you're in a basketball game and you're in between the lines, like that can get to a point. You're like, oh, you want to go, but that doesn't necessarily like Max almost in that context, Max like fully threw his bottle cap at Stephen Che as hard as he could from point blank.
Good point.
Sunday.
That's correct.
Good point.
But that wasn't.
What
like,
was that for?
He started rooting for the Jags.
He was doing the first down
yeah.
for
He
the
started
Jaguars.
doing for no reason.
Yeah.
Just to make Max angry.
Yeah, sounds like boys will be boys.
If you ask somebody you want to go, like you're asking for consent. You should be taught to do that. And it's like if somebody that is weak says that to you, then it's not a big problem. But then when a roided out macho man like Memes says it, then it's like, oh no.
Yeah.
It's like having a ugly dude ask you out as opposed to an attractive guy.
Memes, let me ask you a quick question. How many people in this office have you... I'm not concerned about you fighting anyone, but how many people have you visualized beating up?
Not beating up.
But like punching. And how many of those people are in this room right here?
No, I genuinely like you guys.
But there's been moments.
Yeah.
But that's got to be 100%.
Yeah.
No, probably just Max. Max.
Hank, you're saying Hank?
But Hank doesn't yell. Yelling triggers me. Max just like, we could be talking about offensive linemen and he'll just like Max gets to a level of just office chatter and he'll just start screaming.
I'm a passionate guy.
But you've definitely wanted to punch Hank. That's a lie if you say opposite. 100%.
No, Hank gave me a job.
Yeah, but in that job, there have been moments where you're like, I wish he'd never gave me this job.
Yeah, but there's nothing that's been that serious. And then looking back, it's just always overblown.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which falls back on an anger problem.
Memes does say the anger sharks are swimming out loud.
He says that about me often. Whenever I start to get angry, because it's the Philly guy. Anger
sharks are
management.
swimming.
No, he
that
like
sounds like something you'd say to a toddler.
No, have you ever
it's
seen
from anger management.
Oh, okay.
What
I've
Memes
never seen
does,
that movie.
this is how dedicated to the game Memes is. He steps in and intervenes on himself by thinking of a meme.
Yeah.
To calm him down.
The anger sharks are swimming. Yeah. I love it. Okay. Next one.
A Taylor Swift podcast that sometimes discusses current sports is hosted by a 40-year-old man wearing Spanx, a middle school Bible teacher with a midlife crisis. The show is produced by a guy with good luck Chuck syndrome and a mukbanger who loves Philly sports.
Wait, what's good luck Chuck syndrome?
I mean, everyone
that
I
you date
gets married after.
Oh.
What's Miss Gomas up to?
Oh, yeah, Gomas. By the way, that brought up... Did you get any blowback for your Taylor Swift comments, Max?
0.
Okay. All right.
I said for saying that she was beautiful.
One of the most beautiful
I feel like
pop stars.
That's about as safe as you can say.
One of the most?
You just want someone else to get Taylor Swift blowback.
No, I don't care. I don't want you to go through hell. I don't even do anything anymore.
Guests include the fat kid from Stand By Me who often recites poetry about one of the hosts. Meh.
That was, come on. You taking a shot at Jerry?
A wonderful way to get sports news from a dog, a little person who loves airplanes and Jane Daniels but is scared of heights and women, an obese man who is delusional about the Bears,
Yeah.
an even obeser crybaby from Philadelphia, and the keeper of the light, Willy Wonka's grandpa.
Who's the dog?
Pug.
Oh, Pug.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we haven't gotten on the Willy Wonka's grandpa thing recently, Hank. That was hot in the streets like a couple years ago. I feel like we should bring that back.
What?
Grandpa Joe?
What about him?
Didn't people call you Grandpa Joe for a while and you got mad about it?
I don't know. So they call me Feeble Knees. Which
What is Feeble Knees? I've been
proving
seeing
wrong.
that.
It's just they don't think I'm going to dunk. They think I have feeble knees.
You got diamond knees.
I got, yeah.
Yeah. You got this.
I feel good. I think I'm going to have a shot. John Kruk's autistic Italian nephew produces a show hosted by a nearsighted Cocker Spaniel and an anthropomorphic donut.
He's just trying to get Hank to say words here.
Executive producer Henry happened to be there. Lockwood continues to keep Ryan Russillo's thigh from being the whitest landmarks in the sports podcast landscape.
That was a good roast.
That's having human characteristics.
Yeah, so you're just a
donut with human
you're a live action
characteristics.
donut. A claymation donut.
You got one more?
Nope.
Okay. That was good. I felt good.
Yeah.
We gotta do roasts more often. Feels refreshing to get roasted every now and then. All right. Let's do lottery ball. It's brought to you by Jack Pocket. Feeling lucky? Well, get ready to try your luck with Jack Pocket, America's #1 lottery app. With Jack Pocket, you can order Powerball and Mega Millions tickets right on your phone. They even have official state lottery games. Every day there are millions up for grabs right on your phone. New customers can get a free lottery ticket using code PMT. That's code PMT for free Powerball or Mega Millions tickets. Don't wait. Download Jack Pocket now for your chance to win big. Good luck. Go download Jack Pocket and use code PMT for a free Powerball or Mega Millions ticket. That could make you the richest AWL. Okay. Numbers.
5.
19.
11.
4.
3. Wow. I gave that to you, Mean.
4 wins. We're going 4 wins this week.
Oh, your mic's not on, Pug.
99 Pug.
21.
Is there a twang on that, Pug? I like that. 99 Pug.
Doug Pug.
What was your number,
Young Pug.
Hank?
19.
Memes and PFT, you guys have never gotten this, correct?
I've never gotten it.
I need one of you to get it so then we can start bullying the other person.
I know.
It's not fun when it's 2.
I've never gotten it.
It was fun when it was 3.
96. 96.
Love you guys.